Hello and welcome to the North American Squad League Day 16, or better yet, the final day of the mother-loving season. I am hype. I am ready. This is a big night. This is where we're going to see who makes it to the playoffs. We have 4 teams trying to get there right now for that number 5 and number 6 spot. But before we talk about that anymore, I want to introduce the 2 casters that are with me tonight. Yes, we are doing a 3-man cast tonight. If you've been following along for the full season, you would have already met Ebor before. And if you were here last Thursday, you've already met Priv8 Dancer. How you doing tonight, Priv8?
I am doing great, and I am just so excited for tonight. The last night. 6 teams, 3 exciting series, 1 more night before the playoffs.
Man, Priv8 Dancer, that new mic sounds crispy. You're almost too loud. I gotta turn you down a little. No, keep your volume exactly the same, but I have you like at 200% from last week on the user volume. So I'm gonna turn you down. Ebor, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm really excited for tonight's matchups, especially this first matchup with the Valley against the Sims. It's gonna be an amazing series we have all night tonight for everybody here.
I think this first series is going to be like, they're both West teams, so they're both on West server. They're going to be at good ping, good MS, no issues with anything like that. They are like, and it's a big match. Pretty much whoever loses in this probably doesn't make it to the number 6 spot. If the Simpsons get swept here, they stay out of the playoffs no matter what. There's no way in. If they win 1 game, then it's kind of up in the air still. We'll take a little look at the standings later. The teams are piling into the lobby right now. Priv8, are you ready for this game?
I'm excited, and just to add on what you said, this is do or die time for the Simpsons. If they have hopes, aspirations, dreams of making it into the final 6 and into the playoffs, this is the time. This is when they're going to have to buck up.
Yeah, this is huge. We're not going to waste any. I mean, these teams are ready to go. So we always have to ask, Priv8 Dancer, who takes this game?
Well, it's pretty much. I have to. The money is on the Valley, but there's something to be said about underdogs and people stepping up to the challenges. So hopefully we see something different, something remarkable, and something amazing out of the Simpsons tonight.
And Ebor?
Man, last time I picked underdog, remember? I got bit in the butt for it, so I'm just going to go with the safe pick. I'm going to say the Valley.
Oh, man. A bunch of
last
Valley
time,
voters here.
The underdogs, they screwed me. I'm like 0 for 3 on picking underdog picks, so like I'm just going to stick with the favorites and then hope for the best.
One thing I can say, though, about the Simpsons, they've definitely been a team that has... they've definitely been a team that have grown tremendously throughout this season. And I mean, we saw them in the beginning doing okay. They took some losses, and then once they kind of kicked it up in gear, they just started smashing teams. I mean, beating teams left and right. They've now made it to this number 7 spot, right below Aether Explicit. They got 11 points. Aether Explicit has 12. We'll take a quick jump to the standings board real fast. They're sitting at 4 and 5. This is their final game. Oh, this is the wrong standings board. Sorry about that. I'll fix that after this game. Right now, they have 11 points. Aether Explicit has 12. They need to at least win 1 game against the Valley to tie them for that number 6 spot, and then it's going to come down to a best of series, who's got the best overall record, yada, yada, yada. So it is definitely going to be an intense game. They have to win something here. They're hungry to win something here. And like I said, we are on West server, so I think we're going to see Cole World get really flashy with some of these Assassins heroes and all of that. Priv8? Got anything?
Oh,
sorry.
It's going to be some intense games here, and I do want to see, especially quick views of like MPL, see if maybe the Valley has taken some of that in, or if they're just going to go back to what was comfortable. We do know that last week, unfortunately, they did have to take the forced forfeit. So today, I know they're probably going to be out there with something to prove.
Most definitely.
And I think the Simpsons are they're one thing I like about watching about the Simpsons is that they come out pretty aggressive too, and so does the Valley. And the first game they usually kind of like try see what they can test the waters with to go on the next game, like going on to game 2 or 3 if there's a game 3. But I really like the Simpsons play. I really do like the way they play. They play very aggressive, and they really like. It's like, you know, these matches at this high level is like a chess match, and they're just trying to figure each other out through the first game, and then usually the second and third game is when you start seeing them really go at each other's throats.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be epic, and I know these teams are ready, so let's not waste any time. Let's get this draft going. The Valley versus the Simpsons. The Valley will have first ban, first pick. So, like you said, Ibor, we're looking at, hold on. There we go. I had a memo up for some reason. We're looking at two very aggressive teams. You know, there's some things that we definitely have to watch out for. The Valley, no one wants to let Eugen. Though, actually, no, Eugen is not playing tonight.
Not in. Nope.
So the Valley does have some subs coming in. Last week, they took a forfeit because they weren't able to get their full 5 in on time. They were 15 minutes late. So I think there's some issues going on with Eugen currently. So it looks like we're not going to see him tonight, which means things are a little different. The Selena ban may not have to be something we have to see, Ibor.
Yeah, I wonder who they're going to ban in place of Selena. You know, now they know that Eugen's not playing. I don't know what other picks that they're scared to go up against, at least.
Only love.
Looks
Well,
like
it does look like we are. Yeah, we are getting those typical mage bans out of them. Valentina, even with her nerf, still very strong and very contested.
Was it? Yes, it was a nerf.
Yeah,
I don't know. She's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's a nerf, but just not
it's
enough.
just a game changer in general. Like, other than like her them nerfing her kit, her ult is a game changer for sure.
Yeah, it just provides such another dimension to what you have to be afraid of on the opposite teams. Are we going to give her an ult from Yuzong or from Yi? Do we really want to compete with that as well? It's just there's so much dimensions to her. There's no simple nerfs for her.
And talking about that, I wonder how the bans are going to be throughout tonight, because this is the first match we had since the update. And with that being said,
we had one last week, so we have me and Private are a little ahead of you right now.
Right.
Sorry.
So I was gonna say, because like Masha's really good right now, like really good right now. Bellaric is actually very good tank. He literally melts almost anybody if he just have him as vengeance and his new ult and everything. So it is gonna be interesting seeing these new bans.
Yeah,
especially.
Sorry. I mean, we've already seen, from the other day, we're already seeing some changes. Masha wasn't on the ban list last week. She is now. She's a first up ban at that. Brock also on the ban list. So you can already see how much things are completely flipping over in their heads. And what a time for this to happen right before the playoffs.
Yeah, and unfortunately there are some strong choices that are still up. Even with all these new bans, you've still got Wan, Ling. The updates to those characters have made them so dangerous now. For anybody who's even been ranking on the new patch knows, if they've seen them in a match, that they just have a presence on the field now.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the new Ling, and it's even more of a skill gap too. So if you don't know how to ult and hit your blades, you're gonna have a long cooldown before you get on the wall now. But with these high skill players with Ling, I mean, yeah, they're just absolutely destroying people with 100% crit and then getting out of there no problem.
But Yuzi does lock in this Esmeralda, and that is one thing I think that, you know, she is never
gonna go away.
Never gonna go away, man. Unless they just completely make her trash, you know. She always seems to be a thumbhold, and not only that, but she's such a thumbhold for that first pick. You know, she's such a safe pick to not show your hand too much. Like when you are first up, you don't want to reveal too much because the other team is going to get 2 picks back. So she's just such a solid, you know, you can never really go wrong with the Esmeralda, but Dagger's firing back immediately with this Clint and with this Lilia. What do you think this means, Private?
Well, it just depends now. It does look like they're going to go for a little bit more of a CC heavy comp. Usually on Esmeralda, like you were saying, it's a strong pick because the only real counter that has been proven through and through recently has been the Dairoth. But Dairoth really doesn't meld well with team fights, so he can only bully that lane. So you kind of got to let it through. And then we do see the Eve. There's such strong picks right now by the Valley here right now, and I'm very nervous. I want to see what Simpsons have to counter this.
Yeah, the rate they're going looks like they're just going to go with the normal OP meta hero picks. I really want to see these teams kind of switch up with those picks that are not very popular at all to get picked at. But right now it's just looking like the normal would go to picks that you would normally try to get. Well, especially Paquito as a jungle, you know, that's actually pretty interesting. I'm not saying that that's bad or anything, but to show that so early, before even like, you know, you want to try to. Some people try to save the jungle to the end.
Yeah, especially the Paquito, because it can be countered by certain tanks. Kufra, Ruby does wonders against it. You know, there's a lot of picks that can deal with it, so it is your. But again, it could be a flex pick, but actually, no, it can't, because you've already picked the Esmeralda. So there's no putting that in the XP lane at this point. Wanwan now taken out. And I think we're going to still see a lot of teams getting comfortable with the new meta, and like when it comes to games on the line like this, I'm surprised they just banned their own Ruby
just gonna say that.
But anyways, you know, I think we're gonna still keep seeing comfortable picks, and it's gonna slowly start to transfer, at least in the tournament scene. You know, do you want to get super uncomfortable right now and take the risk picking these new heroes in the new meta?
Yeah, well, right now, I do feel like there needs to be an answer for Yves, and I don't really see that except for Damien on this Lolita. If he's in a good position when Yves goes for that real-world manipulation, he'll be able to stun her out of it, but that's only one person, and there's a whole battlefield out there. So I'd like to see something else that will be able to get into that back line to kind of shut her down when that ult starts.
And the Lilia will help out with that. Not so much of a CC to get her out of it, but she can put a lot of damage on the Eve and then reset, you know, her health and then maybe put some more damage on her. But I'd agree with you. But they also have the Lolita, and a Lance can get behind the Eve. But yeah, Eve, a good Eve at this skill level that we normally see, usually has great positioning, and always does tremendous disruption. You know, with all her PCs and everything she has in her kit.
Is the surest path.
All right, so nothing too crazy here.
There you go.
I do like
there's your Eve counter right there.
That's hard Eve counter. And then, I mean, the Lolita can always first skill in, get the stun off. You know, Cold World's going to be all over the place in this Lancelot. One thing I do want to point to, though, tricks on this Rafaela pick. You know, we haven't seen that much Raph or Estes tanks, you know, those healer tanks in this league thus far. But I think this is a really good pick, especially, you know, I think one of the major problems when you pick that is a lot of teams either go for a highly mobile jungler like Lancelot, and it just doesn't fit well. But she should work very well with this Paquito. He's not going to be able to get too far ahead of her, and as long as they can keep pace together, they may be able to cause some real damage on the field.
Absolutely. And Esmeralda, too. She works great with Esmeralda.
Yeah, you're going to see, I expect to see a lot of quick engagement and chasing. The Valley's going to be chasing these guys down, and it's all going to be on how they can counter that, how they can kite, and how they can answer when they get far enough that Yves will pop out that real-world manipulation. Will Yuzong be ready to get in there and shut that down?
Oh, he's going to save it. He's gonna save his ult. I'm pretty sure his team's telling him do not ult until Eve ults.
Yeah,
that's your job. You're an Eve hunter.
But as we're now jumping into the Land of Dawn, into game one, you know, who do you guys think really, it's hard for me to choose like early game advantage here, you know, who do you think really is going to be able to push in? Of course, Lilia always known for that, Lancelot always known for that, but they're not up against a marksman jungler, they're sitting up against Guapsi on this Paquito, who also has a nice mid-early game spike.
Yeah, it's going to come down to rotations and macro here. We see the little contesting here for the Litho Wanderer, and Cole able to pick that up quite quickly. And Yuzong able to quick up a quick death kill onto Esmeralda here.
That is huge. That is
huge. And he needs to take care of that early, because Esmeralda scales, you know, and that mid game, if that Yuzong doesn't have that advantage over Esmeralda, that Esmeralda is eventually going to start destroying Yuzong.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact that they just set Yuzi back and Esmeralda's already more of a late game hero, but she can scale into that middle game. But wait a second, basic is stopping. We may have an engage here as Cold World paces around in this bush. The rest of the team rotating back, but I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy. It looks like the side of the Valley is really just kind of biding time. Cold World coming in for a possible steal here, taking a little bit of damage. Does phase off, hits the wall though, forces the ultimate out just to get away. The Retribution does come on to help Guapsi catch up. Luckily, Naves is there. Cold World may go down. That was a close call there, Ybor.
Yeah, saved by that Lolita passive, gave him that shield right at the end. But yeah, that was a dangerous play by him, really, because he should have known that he can't win that matchup right there, and he just kind of put himself in a little bad position.
Yeah, a bad position with the turtle coming up too as well.
Exactly.
So We're gonna have to see if they're able to recapture it here. We see the Valley coming in to try to engage on this.
Yeah, then Will
goes the user
does come up. YSS does steal. Blazer coming right in onto Nostalgia though with the knockup. Damien gets a stun onto Guapsi also. They're able to stop him. Can he get away from this though? Yuzong chasing down, not able to get the kill on Nostalgia. Now Blazer in quite the bad position. Esmeralda has rotated up and taken out Cold World. Make that a double kill going to the side of the Valley. A nice 2 for 0 trade on the map, Private.
Yeah, it seems like Yuzong just went just a little far. I would have wished for his team to kind of just call him back there. He was already too far. You saw Lolita try to go with that, with her hammer, her ult out there, even flickered in and still was only able to catch one and left Yuzong out there kind of alone, and they were able to pick him off quite quickly.
Yeah, I think the Simpsons, I think they kind of overextended on that more than they wanted to. I think everything else was set up right, but that Lolita, when she missed that, it kind of ruined their plan that they had going on in there.
Yeah, most definitely. And they are now keeping some more pressure. We've been seeing kind of that 1-2-2 comp that we've been seeing sometimes. Damien really hugging up here, but mostly Tricks also really just staying close to Brody. They want to make sure that gold laner gets fed right now. But either way, I mean, we're sitting at 3.5 minutes, only 3 kills on the board. Definitely a lot slower than what we normally see these two teams play at.
Yeah, a lot of respect on the side of the Simpsons. I really want to see them get a little bit more aggressive here before the Valley starts scaling up, because that's when we're going to be in no man's land. So right now they need to press their advantage, start taking a little bit more chances. Maybe not chances like this, slants right now.
Cold World keeps getting cut off. You know, I'd have to kind of... wait a second. Dagger's caught in that real manipulation. Tricks coming in. Hasn't used that Holy Baptism just yet, but she doesn't have it. Daggers make it cut off. Able to outplay Basic with the flicker in second skill and takes him out. A nice play from the side of the Valley, giving them another little bit of lead, with Damien trying to come help back up along with Knaves and just defend this gold lane tower. Ebor.
Oh yeah, that was such a... I mean, it was a 4v1, and Clint did amazing. He almost got away with maybe a kill on one of them, but it was really going to be a lose battle. It was a very well executed tower dive by the Valley for sure.
Yeah, and that's the difference between the engagements that we've been seeing. Oh, and Blazer in trouble here.
Yeah,
Has to pop his Black Dragon for him.
Big flicker Newman on blast. Blazer re-engages with the Petrify. Not even gets a knockup though, because in comes that Holy Baptism Sundoll. Yuzi followed up with that Falling Star Moon, able to get the kill onto Blazer. Now Yuzi caught between two, but it's tanky enough to keep on pushing forward. Starting to become the nuisance that we know from Esmeralda.
Yeah, it seems like when the Simpsons are at 4 and going into the lanes, it seems like they're a little bit more cautious than the Valley is when they're trying to go with their engagements. And you see here that we're starting to get Cole and we're starting to get Blazer getting caught out, and then the team just completely swarms onto them.
I mean, one thing I can say though is looking at the gold right now, Simpsons haven't let it fall too far behind. It's only a 500 gold gap or so, 5 to 1,000, and we're 5 minutes in. This turtle is going to help them jump a little bit, but even then, it's still only 700 gold. So even though they're falling a bit behind in some of these kills, the game is pretty much dead even right now. They are coming into basic right now. Puts up that bulwark. They want to take this tower, and I got a feeling they're going to be able to take it, and the Valley's going to get nothing in return here, Ivor.
The macro management of this game is what's going to come down to it. The Sims is doing very well on macro management right now, still putting some pressures on the towers when they need to. They're losing experience, but even the Yuzong right now is cutting it off just to get that up.
Cool, but a nice pick on to Damien. They quickly respond though. Cold World puncturing through, making a double kill. Blazer on the trail. A nice triple going to Cold World, forcing Yuzi back into the hole. Are they going to make that a 4 swap? No, they cannot. Takes tower shot basic. Now onto the trail of Blazer. Torn apart memories, not able to finish it with the first kill. Will Cold World trying to catch up with the ultimate through, able to hit that Rose onto basic, bring him down to about half health. But this is going to help the Simpsons put this game into their hands.
Yeah, and a very nice engagement by them, and then the dance off by Cold World in there at mid tower. They're able to get 2 towers unanswered right now, and looks like this game is starting to turn into the side of the Simpsons.
Yeah, not only 2 hours, but because it's used under the cut lane, they're going to be able to capture this 3rd tower here on the bottom as well with no problem. So their macro management right now, the Simpsons, is applying so much pressure on the Valley right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, they're with this tower being a half health, still not a single tower taken from the side of the Simpsons. It's definitely looking like a rough game for them right now, Private.
Yeah, and the Simpsons are starting to get their wheels, are starting to get more confident. They're starting to really dive in on these engagements, and it looks like it actually might be trouble for the Valley right now, as they're still kind of spread out and not really able to get, able to transition their kills into an actual objective.
Give us a little bit of an item breakdown, as it seems like we're in a bit of a lull here, Ebor. Tell us what we're looking at and where we might be heading.
I'm gonna pull it up. Alright, so it's funny, Esmeralda actually went Dom Ice first. Oh wait, which is Turtle Battle goes.
Yeah, Damien with the flicker Numan Blast does get stopped by Guapsi though. World Manipulation does come up. Cold World able to get away, but down goes Damien. Yuzi now on the trail. Cold World taken out, making a triple kill, or at least 3 people down on the side of the Simpsons. The Valley consistently answering back. I mean, like I said from the beginning, this game is up in the air. Look at the gold right now, dead even. I really think it could go either way. Nice black shoes from Knaves, but Blazer will get taken out. I mean, Blazer will be able to take out Basic. Nostalgia now on the run, Ebor.
Yeah, this match is gonna be crazy. This match is crazy. So right now with the items, so you already have Clip, he already has Endless Balance. He's about to finish his Blade of Destiny right now, so he's gonna start making some really big damage going in the next couple fights. Lance already has his 2 items to build on his 3rd one. I'm not sure exactly what he's building. He's still going to attack. Usually they go about defense right now, but I think since he's so farmed, he's going to keep going with attack compared to just dropping that defense item already. And then Yuzan just picked up Dom Ice just for the Esmeralda whenever he fights Esmeralda.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think the Dom Ice pick on Esmeralda wasn't horrible to start. A lot of physical damage from the side of the Valley with that Paquito and with Basic, and then it also is going to help a little bit dealing with Blazer overall on this Yuzong. I think one of the things to really point out is the fact that I'm waiting to see if we're also going to see any, you know, I feel like the Simpsons, when it comes to the late game, they might need a little bit more anti-lifesteal, having to deal with Esmeralda and this Rafaela private.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too, is you're going to have 2 big monsters that are able to like just heal off of each other, that especially with Uzi here starting coming into the mid game now. She was a little slow at the beginning because of that build for that Dom Ice first, just to deal with the Yuzong, but I feel now she's going to start taking her strides as we get into probably started moving into the late game now.
Yeah, look at Esmeralda's finally. I think Esmeralda's finally starting to win in this team fight against, I mean, in this 1v1 against Blazer, and she's doing a great job because she's at least keeping him down there to where he can't rotate up. He does have that dragon form, but by the time he gets to the fight, it's going to be up. He's going to have to make it count. He's not going to be able to really use it for zoning. The rest of the team doing a little bit of pace down here in the mid lane around this Lord pit. I'm wondering who's going to make the first aggression on this Lord, Ebor.
I would say that the Simpsons would probably make the first aggression. They kind of know where they're at positioning wise, and they do have the CCs to kind of get a little bit more aggressive in the positioning. It all depends, because right now they're really just they're just waiting for the other team to make a mistake. They're waiting for out position. They're waiting for at least one pick, and then they're gonna make their move on an objective.
And what's happening now is Esmeralda is trying to keep Yuzong busy here, making sure that that lane is pushed so that she can move in right now. As you can see her moving in there. It looks like we're going to have, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a little bit of aggression here from her. Especially even if she isn't moving into the team fights. If she's keeping Yuzong busy, their only answer for the real world manipulation would be Lolita to be able to get on there to stop it quickly. You will still have that Lilia there, but that damage does take a little bit to start bursting her down. And by that time, Yves might have already gotten those slows out and that immense amount of damage that she can during that ult.
Cold World finally engaging them along with daggers. They do get some nice damage. Basic may go down. Daggers gets a kill. Guapsi coming around the back though. World Manipulation does get him caught off guard. Damien though bringing in the Numenon Blast, but it's only him and Knaves. The black shoes pop, so we're back at full health, and they want to try to re-engage, but it's still a 1-for-1 trade. Both marksmen going down. In comes Uzi with that falling Star Moon over the wall to push them back. But again, just a 1-for-1 trade. What pace right now? I feel like I'm watching an end game. And I feel like we're at the 22-minute mark right now. Nostalgia taking a bit of damage, able to back off. Guapsi poking in. I mean, definitely the patience from both teams right now is definitely intense, Ebor.
Oh yeah, definitely the patience. And Esmeralda just jumped in on them just to say that, hey, I'm still here. Esmeralda's actually doing an amazing job.
Pause.
But yeah, Esmeralda was doing an amazing job. Just like you said, just bullying that lane, just keeping Yuzan busy. And then when that team fight came out, she instantly started rotating. And Yuzan did rotate, but really late to the game because Esmeralda was already rotating and Yuzan was still trying to clear the lane.
Yeah, and the real world manipulation had already gone off by that point. And I do kind of question, Lolita, was it the better choice to go ahead and use that Lumino Blast onto the Boquito rather than onto the Eve, who was right below her? Just because it did cost Clint as Clint got bursted down by the Eve.
Yeah, I don't believe that was like a good choice in that. And sometimes, you know, in the heated moment, you just try to like just pick a target. You know, it's really hard with target acquisition whenever you're trying to call out somebody, and you know, and things happen so fast in this game. But yeah, that's definitely something that definitely cost them that Clint pick. But going, even though, just like Rex said earlier, we're only in the 12-minute mark. You know, we're technically still mid-game right now. We're not even late game.
And it feels like we're watching a late game, like the way they're just like they're doing the jock, you know, the late game jock for the Lord Pit. So, and I think everybody knows that like it's on the line right now, you know. So there's a lot of, they're putting the feelers out there. They're just seeing what's going on. This is only game 1, but these teams are ready to get back in. So we're going to be starting right now. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this, Ebor.
Yeah, they're definitely. I love this gameplay because they're not super aggressive. They're doing smart plays. They're playing it pretty slow, waiting for opportunity. They see an opportunity, they jump on it. Then usually Valley will counter it very well. So these two teams are playing very well with each other. Even though the score is 10-7, I mean you could just ignore that really because it's still an even match.
I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Go ahead, Priv8.
Yeah, there's only a 2K gold lead on the side for the Valley here. So, like you said, there is an engagement up at bottom lane.
Oh, we do have a little bit Blazer. It looks like Guapsi tried to rotate down, but Blazer able to get some nice damage, but Guapsi gets the kill and the outplay. This is going to be the moment, I think, that we see the Valley start to press forward. Uzi rotating in. That bottom tower is going to go down. And what I was going to say here is the Valley, even though they haven't been able to keep, you know, it feels like they haven't had too much so their macro is starting to take over the map. They've been keeping Esmeralda keeping pressure on that bottom lane. Damien now taking a bit of damage though. Guapsi hits that champ stamps, gets that speed boost. But now we're seeing the Valley take presence over this Lord. It's going to be time to see if Cold World decides to go for the steal, but the Valley decides to back off Ebor.
Yeah, and this is actually interesting because the Valley has a better comp for late game. You know, with the Esmeralda and the Paquito and then the Brody, and then Rafa, when she gets all her items and stuff, like she makes her team very hard to kill and slows everybody in her CC and everything. Oh wait, is he gonna get picked?
No, Cole
yep, he is.
Down, and Daggers may also pay the price for coming through. Torn Apart Memories is not there, so he's not gonna be able to get that finish. Uzi tries to make the cut, not quite able to. Has that Falling Star Moon ready to go. Lands on top of Knaves, just bring her down some health, take a few tower shots, and walk away. Here's Nostalgia. Maybe they want to keep this fight going, but while this is happening, Wapsi secures the Lord, Ebor.
Yeah, this is very troublesome for Simpson. If they had a very good, they should have kept some type of aggression when they had a good lead in the morning, but or in the earlier game.
Damien with a huge flicker stun. In comes the Petrify 3-man, 4-man knockup. Everyone trying to wait. The problem is the damage isn't there. Blazer trying to zone Wapsi into that wall. Navis keeps doing some poke damage onto Uzi, but it's still just not enough. I think Navis might need to pick up that Necklace of Durance right now. She's going for a bit more burst damage. Not quite able to keep up. World Manipulation does come back in. Tricks will go down. Cold World punctures through. Gets the kill on the Nostalgia. They're going back and forth. Wapsi trying to re-engage with a nice 3-man knockup. Gets the kill on the Cold World. In comes the Numenon Blast, but it just does not land. And down goes Blazer along with it. We're looking at a 3-for-2 trade on the map. Make it a 3-for-4. Uzi will pay the price, though. These teams are brawling. The problem is Lord is coming, and he's hungry. He's crashing into that inhibitor's basic, and Guapsi, 2-man against the world, going against the other two. They're going to close into this Nexus, and I got a feeling it may go down right here.
You don't get very many great fights like that lead to the core, but you had that great, absolutely picture perfect Black Dragon and engagement by Yuzong, and then followed up very perfectly by a Luminal Blast. But unfortunately, the rest
nobody was there to help.
Yeah, nobody was there to help. And it did look like the Valley got a little eager after that, lost two members as they tried to crash in the mid. But unfortunately, when the smoke cleared, the Valley was able to had 3 of the Simpsons down and moving on into the core.
Yeah, and I think they just didn't have the damage that they were thinking. Just like you said, that beautiful set to follow nothing. Nobody was there to help. But even though I'm looking at it, Lance would be the only one already has some tanky items. Like you see, they already have Radiant Armor, Brute Force Armor and stuff. So they already had the tanky items. So even at that set, like there was nobody really there to really follow it up. But yeah, the Valley definitely took advantage of the situation and definitely dominated on it, which was an amazing play by the Valley.
Yeah, I mean, it was close the whole time. I wanted, for a second it felt like the Simpsons had it, then it felt like the Valley had it, then it felt like the Simpsons had it again, and back and forth, and we came down to that 10-minute jock, the 10-minute back and forth. And I think that was a moment that the Simpsons maybe needed to press in and make a play. You guys were talking about how you felt like the Valley had a bit of a better end game. They had a few more utilities with Yve and that Numenon Blast, Trix able to give that movement speed, and not only that, but Uzi, even with that early game death, was able to get nice and bulky early on, and it definitely, they were able to buy just enough time to where when there was a big mess up, there was nothing the Simpsons could do.
Yeah, and especially that mid game where we saw Uzi over in the side lane trying to keep Yuzong busy, trying to keep Blazier busy, because he was really the only the answer that they had at the moment for Yve. And then when the fight popped up, neither of them were there, and Uzi was actually able to rotate there faster. So I think that played a huge part, that lane control during those fights, to start spreading the gold difference even farther.
Yeah, and especially the patience by the Valley, because Simpsons was definitely winning the macro game early to mid game, and they knew it, and they just let it just happen. Not let it happen, but they were okay with losing a couple towers because they knew they had the late game comp. And then when it came down to near the end, with the Lord coming in, and you could just tell they had tanky players that just wouldn't die. At one point, Esmeralda killed Lilia under the tower, taking tower shots, not even caring. I mean, she eventually died to Clint, but still, she was there to put pressure on their team under tower, not even caring, because they were already that tanky.
Is that a XP chart for ants?
Yeah, what is this? A chart for ants? Yesterday I pulled this up for the first time. Me and Priv were watching. I'm like, why is this so small? So that is game one. Let's get back to this caster's desk. I know that these teams are ready for game two. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. The Simpsons will have first pick this time. The Simpsons need to win this game. There were some questions about the Brotherhood versus Aether Explicit. That game is not happening. Brotherhood's missed too many games. They weren't gonna be able to make tonight, so they are officially dropped from the league, which is also why you see the standings boards looking a little different. What it means is that every team that got points against the Simpsons will not keep those points, and every team that lost to the Simpsons do not take those losses. It'll be as if they never existed. So the Simpsons have to win a game here if they want to take that number 6 spot. If they can win this game right here, even if they don't win the whole series, they will move on to that 6th position. So this is huge for them. This is very, very, very huge for them.
Sorry, I had a sneeze coming out. But yeah, you're right. And so that will give them, one win will give them 12 points here, which will put them, like, what, a 3-place tie until the finale of this series, with that team moving just ahead of Aether Explicit for the sixth place, I believe.
Yeah, it's so, and then you also have Deuce Knight sitting at the number 7 spot with 11 points. So if out of some miracle they can get a sweep against against Insomniacs tonight, they will also
Only
catapult
love and
up
night.
Your team
into the
is
into the 6th spot. So they're also going to be hungry for a big win tonight. It's very up in the air. It has come down to the line here. Let's jump over to the draft.
Your
We forgot to
team
switch
is
screens. We are seeing Cold World stick to kind of keeping things similar as before, taking out that Sicilian Ibor.
Yeah, and I think it's just gonna be the normal badge you probably see. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of keep the same style comp, but they're probably gonna make just minor adjustments. So it's probably gonna go down normal. The Sicilian, the Valentina, Fanny ban, maybe Masha ban. Who was the other one? The Eve might actually get banned because Eve actually was a determinant factor because their Yuzon plan didn't really work out for them. Actually, they have the Grok as well because he does crazy damage now.
Yeah, there's just so many different picks and so many different strong heroes right now
Yes.
that you let the Eve through, then you've still got to deal with that Esmeralda. You still got to deal with that with all these other side laners. They need an answer either for the Eve or there goes the. They went
There's your
ahead.
answer for the Eve. Get rid of it.
That's always the best answer right there.
That's the best answer right there. Don't even let it become an option.
So then this is probably going to leave open a Masha. Or
Masha-
they didn't even ban that last time, did they?
They did ban
it was
Masha.
Simpsons who banned it, but the thing is, they have first pick this time.
And they banned Ruby as well, which Ruby could have really helped them.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, Selena ban. Do they know that?
No,
Oh, wait, that was the Valley
who
that-
banned Selena. The Masha comes in.
Oh,
This could be huge, Tampa.
yeah. Just
Nice.
that huge buff to her now. Even now with Guardian Helmet, her wild power during mid game doesn't even tick off life for her. It just stays it just stays at the same. So she is such a strong and just invasive character now.
Yeah, she is absolutely nuts right now. The first time I went up against her after the patch, I didn't really fully read the patch notes and what she should have. But she was just destroying me in experience, and I was like, oh my god, what is going on? Even the Boxia, so even I had a
Is
Boxia
this a jungle
match.
Boxia? Hold up.
I don't think it's a good jungle Boxia.
Is this a
Jungle Boxia is really good though. I've done it before, but I don't think they're gonna stick with a jungle Boxia against Masha because even Boxia doesn't go much against Masha. I've tried it; it didn't work that much.
Yeah, and they do have the do pick up the Farja on the team on the side of the Valley here. It's just a strong backline mage there with that feathered airstrike being able to rain on damage. But it depends on what the backline here is going to be for the Simpsons here, and if that Farja is going to have an effect, or if they're going to be able to find heroes that are going to be able to close the distance on her and shut her down from that feathered airstrike.
And these are the mage picks I want to see. So last mage picks they were all mostly CC to crowd control, but like the Simpsons really needed a burst mage. So now they're actually going for burst mage of Kagura, and then even the Valley has a burst mage of Farza. So this is actually like the better mage picks of what you want to see because those sets that they were doing but couldn't follow up because they didn't have a burst mage. Now they have a burst mage, and we'll see if they can benefit from having this burst damage instead of just more of a control CC mage.
Looks like the Valley is trying to decide on a good side lane to take on the Masha here, and wonder if Freya will be the answer to that.
Is Freya gonna be the answer?
I don't know.
So
I haven't found it. Hey, listen, if there's anybody in chat that knows the answer to this new Masha meta, like, please let me know. Like,
They decide to go for the Franco instead. The Valley has played a good Franco before, but I don't know if it's gonna be the pick tonight, man. I don't know.
oh, here we go again with the Franco picks.
Here we go.
You know, sorry. No
We've been waiting
offense
to
to
believe
Tricks
that.
or to anybody or Franco mains, but I'm just saying, like, there's a good 10% of you that are good.
5%. 5.
I was being generous.
Yeah, he does. When played correctly, the Franco can just put so much harassment and so much potential on his team for being able to hook those buffs or to shut down players. Like, but there is that overall, what does he contribute to the overall team fight, which isn't really much. But if you're already in their jungle, if you are slowing down those buffs and things like that, it doesn't really matter how he plays in the team fight because the enemy team is going to be behind.
Absolutely. You just gotta do God hooks. You gotta know. You gotta have some amazing hooks to hook some people. Yeah, I mean, his ult is amazing. It's a complete suppression. And it's like a causer that just stays still, right? So you can't purify out of it. You can't get out of it. The only way you can get out of it actually is if someone CCs Franco while ulting you. That's the only time that you can get out of his ult. If not, then you're stuck in his ult. So his ult is amazing, but it's just it's a pretty high cooldown for being a suppression, and then you just gotta hit your hooks.
Your team.
You know, one thing I can say though about that Franco is with that Franco being locked in, this means we are definitely going to see the Basha jungle. Like that is
true.
Definite. That means that's it right there. Unless they go for some Brotherhood strat, which never really worked that well. TSU's been trying it also, the double tank, which they are doing, but they're doing it a little different. They're going for the tank jungle. And I mean, these types of things have worked in the past with teams like Blacklist and teams overseas. There's never really been a team in NA to really stay with it or master it down. But with all of the recent revamps and all of the recent patchwork made to tanks, I got a feeling we might be seeing a lot more of this coming soon.
Let's do it. I love it. I love seeing it.
Yeah, everybody giving each other hugs and never dying. It's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be so exciting.
45-minute matches.
Those wet noodle fights. It does lead to those wet noodle fights in the XP lane, though, especially at the early game where you just have two behemoths slapping each other for about 3 minutes until the team could come in. And we do see another.
I still can't wait till I still start seeing more Beleric. I feel like Beleric is actually a very good tank right now, and I don't know why a lot of teams in the pros perspective are not really utilizing it. They're utilizing it in the C level, but in NA they're just not utilizing it as much. I don't know if it's because it doesn't work with team comps, but like his ultimate with Vengeance and his passive, it's disgusting damage on the squishy heroes. Like this, they literally kill themselves.
So last Thursday we saw the first Beleric in the whole season, and a Claude came in, hit his blazing duet, and I just see his health bar start melting, and then he dies.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't look at Priv8, but I look at Priv8 and I go, you know what just killed him? Do you know what just killed him? Freaking blade armor and vengeance just murdered that Claude without doing any damage to him. It was pure insanity.
Yes, it's not safe for marksman whenever there's a Beleric on the field for sure.
Yeah, pretty interesting here. Looks like they're going to use Carry as an answer for the heavily the double tank comp here on the side of the Valley. Also able to pick up Edith on the side of the Valley. They do pick up the Claude and that Paquito.
I wonder if they actually should have went Carry last match against them, since they had a more of a tankier meta against them, to go with a Carry side lane since they already locked in like a Paquito jungle.
Well, I guess it just depends on what your early game is, because Carry doesn't really have too great of an effect before she does get that golden staff.
And golden staff.
Yeah, so before that, she's not as effective. So you do need to have something early to be able to kind of lift up your team before she does come online there.
I mean, I want to point out, Blazer on this Edith, though, has done... She hasn't been the most popular pick all season long, but Blazer's definitely done... I mean, he's been one of the picks for him that has shown very well. He's got a really high win rate on this Edith, and that paired up with Damien on this Masha. I mean, the team, Simpsons just look good right now to me, and it's hard to really decide if the Valley looks good right now because they have something a little bit different going on. Look at Damien coming in already harassing Guapsi. I think this is what we're going to see in this early game, and I like it. Guapsi taking some big damage. She is on him. Nostalgia trying to come in, but he is not going to stop. He is brought down to his only health bar. Not able to stop that blue buff, but slows him down enough to where it's going to help Carry keep up just a little bit. Tricks, though, taking some damage. Can Naves get the finish? With the flicker through, able to get first blood going to the side of the Simpsons, Ebor.
Oh man, yeah, this is that Masha meta. You just straight instant start bullying Boxia. But the mission was failed. He didn't get the blue, and he failed. Actually, they're doing Masha roam. Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought Masha was jungle for some reason. That's actually very interesting. I didn't expect that, because she can just not, if she's not helping roaming the team, she could just take away Boxia's jungle non-stop.
Yeah, and they were able to pick up that kill on the Franco here in the early game, trying to stop him with all that aggression that he can put out. And he does go down again, unfortunately, here.
That is huge. Simpsons making a strong presence in only the first 2 minutes of this game right now, Private.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. And we need to see if Simpsons need to be able to hold on to this, keep the pressure on, keep pushing forward, and not give the Valley any type of breathing room. And I think that they're going to be able to actually do that with this Masha pick, just roaming all over their jungle.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially this Masha is just going to go from objective to objective, and just the damage and her sustainability right now just makes her a huge pick right now.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing they're running, Simpsons running a much tighter formation than what we normally see them run. You know, kind of all staying pocketed together. Damien just constant harassing. And what this is also doing is it's buying time for Cold World to just farm right now in the background. Damien, though, taking a bit of damage, maybe in a bad position. The knockup comes in for Blazer, but Barza's going to get that kill on to Damien. A nice play, and they're not able to secure one back onto Guapsi. So the trade is going to the side of the Valley there, Private.
Yeah, Nostalgia able to actually get that last little stun on the Blaze here, stopping him from even being able to close down onto Guapi. Thankfully, able to save his life there.
Yeah, this is that Masha is really hurting Bakshi's farm right now. Carry's already about to be 6. Bakshi is halfway in 4, so already the scaling, and this is gonna be tough because if your carry is higher than your tank jungler that you're trying to go with, that's a problem. Like we said, like you said earlier, carry needs some items, and right now carry's farming and getting her items much higher than the box is, and it's gonna really hurt the Valley going into mid to late game.
Yeah, but they do have that late game Farja, that mid to late game Farja, where she will be able to get that position, will be able to start raiding down with that feather airstrike, as she does right now. Not actually able to make anything happen there to the side of Simpsons here, but I do feel like that's going to be a major role here in how they can protect her. Masha going in on the...
Sorry about that. I clicked
no
on a different screen and missed that for a second. They are closing in, though, onto this gold lane. I have to... Oh, Damien goes down again. I think he needs to slow down just a little bit. I mean, I get the idea, harass, but you don't want to fall too behind. Blazer taking a bit of damage here as Guapsi and Yuzi tries to close the gap. Not quite able to get the finish, but they are going to be able to push this lane in and maybe get a little bit of gold laning if Yuzi wants to take the chance. He is going to get flipped, tossed, thrown up into the air, but he doesn't care. He's going to get as much gold play as he can and then leave, but here comes Naves, ready for the play. Hits the first kill, not quite able to connect the ultimate. Does miss it. Blazer and Damien zone in. Can they get the finish? A nice knockup on it. Yuzi and Kagura collects the kill. And what I was saying is, yes, Bars is going to have some late game, but so is Kagura, and she's sitting at 2-0 right now, Private.
Yeah, and just a wonderful thing. And the thing here too is, looks like we gotta clean up. Daggers just got cleaned up there at the top lane. But what is happening here? Even if Masha does die, she's the roamer right now, so she's basically playing like a more firm diggy strat where she can go in, get that vision, harass them, but she's actually getting the kills for it. So she is, while she is dying, she is putting the Valley behind.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ibor.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, and with that pick that they did on Daggers, they needed that because Basic is really far behind. That Masha has spent a lot of resources on them roaming around to try to help out, but
oh, a nice lockdown on the Daggers. Torn apart memories does go off, and he gets the kill on the Basic. Yes, he dies, but that is still huge. Damien coming in, able to get the kill on to Franco along with it. Yuzi goes down in the middle lane. The Simpsons are definitely prevailing right now. With the way things are going, we may be looking at a game 3 here, Ibor.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what I was trying to say was that like the Valley is not focusing very well. So Basic was behind, and they've been trying to get Daggers hit more because he's actually more farmed than Clint. But with that, look, they lost the middle tower and their experience and the bottom tower. So they're prioritizing on the wrong targets. They need to find out who's the really big threat for them and focus that. And because right now Carrie is still just farming away, even though she's 0-2. But right now they're going right in, coming up to the mid game and where she's going to start shining.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there aren't. It's a very rough decision here. You want to avoid fights with the Simpsons right now because you're so far behind. So what they're trying to do is to go ahead and go for those weaker targets. Unfortunately, when they do go for daggers, they are losing 2 towers of their own and picking up some deaths as well. So it's not an easy position to be in, especially from behind, because it's kind of a lose-lose situation since you're actively trying to avoid those engagements that are going to cost you and put you even farther behind.
Yeah. And it looks like they're going with like a 2-2-1 meta because that Franco's been next to Clint non-stop protecting Clint.
Yeah, protecting Claude for sure. Claude.
Claude, sorry.
Hold on, no. Torn Apart Memories goes off, and a nice double kill going over to daggers there, taking out Claude and Tricks once again. So I mean, yeah, I guess you're protecting him. I guess. I mean, if that's what you call that, he tried.
I'll tell you what, this Masha roam is. I'm gonna have to throw that in my rotation.
Yeah, she's just so strong, has such a presence on the field, and this is why she's been getting banned so often right now. And I think the Valley's starting to learn that, unfortunately, in this game.
Oh man, I mean, the Simpsons are definitely playing a much more aggressive game than last time. Definitely, I think, learning from their mistakes, and this is where I like to see them, man. This is what I feel like they should have been a bit more aggressive in the first game. Maybe now they know. It's like, you know what? We have to win. We can't kind of keep the feelers out there. We just either try to do this or go home, and I like this. These are the Simpsons that I like to see right now, Ebor.
I love it. I love the aggressiveness. This is what they wanted. This is what I wanted to see in the first game, but the first game it took kind of a slower perspective. Look at that, 3 on 1, and she still got out of there.
Oh my god, Basic just gets instantly deleted. I mean, flickers in and just gets shot down from daggers. The damage is insane. Blazer coming in. Yes, you take Damien, but you lose 2 members, and this has been the strategy the whole game. Damien's really, you know, we were thinking Masha was going to be this big deal, and I mean, yes, she is right now, but honestly, she's just the bait right now.
And that's exactly what you need. She would have had them waste 3 ults on her and then was able to get out of there, and then the Simpsons dominated on that because they had nothing else left to protect themselves.
And this is what was missing from the last game, is that confidence. And I'd like to see this type of confidence when this Masha gets banned out. When you have that early game advantage, press it. And that comes down to experience and knowing your heroes and knowing your comp and what you can take. Looks like we have a fight up here on Blazer.
Blazer is taking some damage. In comes Basic with that blazing duets. Lord still at the mid lane. It looks like the Valley wants to take this here. In comes that feathered airstrike, doing a little bit of damage. Tricks, though, gets knocked up, gets poked, nades, trying to get any damage she can, but not quite able to get finished. Well, all this is happening. Daggers in the bot lane, just poking away. He's going to make a small connection, but here comes Basic and Yuzi. He may want to try to get out of there a bit sooner than later. He's getting some nice poke damage, though. Torn Apart Memories goes up, not able to get the finish, though, Private.
Yeah, and just apparently not able to. They weren't actually able to do anything with this lore. Looks like they are going to get this mid tower. So now they are only down to inhibitors here, but just a good spread by the Simpsons. This is the type of fight you need to take if you want to take down the Valley. Just this aggression, this constant presence, and this constant yeah, they are. And unfortunately, these are things that this is where you need to be the carefulest. This is where when you're down to those inhibitor towers, when you're down to the core, this is where you need to be careful, because while you're going there trying to take that core, while you think you have the game in the bag, you have that Farsha that's going to be able to unload on you with that feathered airstrike from the safety of the core of the home where she's just healing and you can't reach her. So this is going to be the make or break time for the Simpsons. Can they keep this up? Can they make sure that they don't make the mistakes that we see so many teams do when it's down to those last towers and that core?
Yeah, and they are just really grouping up too. And I like to say they're finally giving a little bit of spread, but the problem, it does seem like they are doing better in these team fights, because this is the problem right here. Look at Cold Whirl and Damien zoning in, and they're going to eat this tower down even with Yuzi there. I don't even think Yuzi wants to try and engage that on his own. He does use that knockout punch, not quite able to get the connection though. Slowed down from Damien, forced to back off, but the rest of the Valley is here to help the re-engage. But the thing is they still lose the inhibitor, Ebor.
Yeah, and this is going to be a problem. So Masha has always been the #1 backdoor in Mobile Legends, right? She's the one who can melt down towers, minions real quick if you're not paying attention. We saw that in one tournament where they won them the match. It's just nobody, Yeah, even the casters didn't even see it. We're like, and it's just gonna be a nuisance. But this is gonna be a little issue here because they have a huge goal lead. They have why are they stopping the aggression? Why are they doing it like trying to play? The Valley is very good at strategic matches, and if you give them just a little bit of space, they can have great counterattacks. So even though they just captured the Lord here, they need to make this push count for them, or they're gonna lose this match.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough. I mean, the problem is with this push coming, the Simpsons spreading this out. Look at the lane freeze, making sure they take as much. I think they know they need to end this soon and try to end this now. And with the way things are looking, they have almost a 10,000 gold lead. They're looking strong before this push comes. Guapsi.
I mean, even Brody and Carrie right now have 10k gold.
Yeah, look at the position though. Claude, he's going to be able to possibly melt down this Lord. He's forced to come back, and comes that feathered airstrike. The rest of Team Simpsons coming in onto that top inhibitor. They're going to lock it down and rotate down to the mid. Cold World zoning in onto Tricks. Make a switch over to Yuzi, then come back to Guapsi, and the damage is coming in. Lord has gone down though. Yuzi torn apart memories, not able to get the finish. All 3 members up only. The Nexus will go down, and game 2 goes to the Simpsons.
An absolutely textbook execution
Yes.
of what they were lacking in that first game. The aggression, the dominance, and then to just keep that pressure up through the entire game and not get sloppy with it.
I mean, did Masha really get a silver there? She was a lot more she was more of a nuisance to the other team than what they track in stats. But in my opinion, I think the #1 MVP would go to Amasha just because of what she did in that whole match, and forced a pace in that match that allowed the Simpsons to farm, that allowed to carry. Carry barely touched anybody for the first 5-6 minutes. She just farmed. Daggers was just dominating Basic on the goal lane and was just getting such a good high goal lead. They even at the point in the end game, Basic, I saw one time Basic did an ult, did no damage to nobody because he's so far behind. And it was just like that's the kind of match, that's like exactly like what Priv8 said, like that's the match that they need, that aggression hard, and just to get their guys farmed up for that mid to late game, if that's the game plan that you're going for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yes, Masha did do an amazing job. And it's Daggers though, man. The man was a monster the whole game, man, even in the top lane. But really, I also want to... Knaves was also 5-0-3, man. I mean, she didn't have any super flashy moments, but she was just always able to be there at the right times, help get the damage down, zoning off. Knaves did a wonderful job on that Kagura this game. And overall, even Blazer had some nice picks. The whole team did do well. I would say Cold World probably was just farming the whole time, but did his job in taking objectives. And when it came to that last push, he was important in melting down Guapsi, melting down Tricks. But enough of that. Let's get back to this caster's desk and get ready for game 3. So now that we've seen them each win a game, do the opinions change at all at who takes the series?
Let's go with yes. I'm gonna say yes. You know what? I will take it. I won't put that pressure on your board. I'll put it on I'll go for the underdogs here. If they have an answer without Masha, because you know that the Valley's either gonna have an answer or they're gonna go ahead and ban that Masha. So can the Valley, or not the Valley? Can the Simpsons find a comp, find an answer that will keep them putting pressure on in the early game and keep that pressure on until the late game? So and that's the real question I think here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the Valley. I think they're not going to make that mistake of letting that Masha open like that, and which ended up costing them the game because of the way how the Simpsons was able to take that pick and build a team around the rest of their team to dominate the Valley in that match. And I think they're going to ban, and they're right, like right now, I don't know what happened with Basic, but I was going to say they're discussing on pretty much the upcoming draft of what they're gonna do now. They're like, oh, we're gonna have definitely ban this person, we're definitely gonna do this, but they might get a sub here.
Yeah, we might see a sub. Basic does have some Wi-Fi issues, I guess, right now. He messaged me, but they do get their 10-minute grace period. Nobody used it in the very beginning. Both teams were there on time. So starting at a minute ago, each team has 10 minutes to get all their players together. But, I mean, yeah, I think Masha definitely needs, after watching that, I mean, that wasn't even like... And that wasn't even like some of the Mashas we've been hearing about, like what I've been hearing about overseas of just insane damage, like this tank Masha, and it was still such a nuisance. Now the question is, would it have been such a nuisance against an actual jungler, not a tank jungler?
I think you might have had a little bit more problems. You got Boxy, who's just a little tankier and was able to withstand the damage that Masha was doing to him before the lanes were able to actually close in on her. I don't know what an assassin would have been able to do there, because I feel like they would have gotten caught even quicker with a lower health pool there, or having to actually disengage on their blue, which you saw at the early game. While Masha didn't get the blue, and Boxy actually did get it, they were able to slow it down a bit and kind of like force the Valley's hand and try to force them to reorganize on the map. And that's another thing too. It's not just about getting the kills or even that pressure. It's just that you're forcing the entire team to play a game that you want to play. They have to go ahead and come back, and they have to close ranks around you to try to protect their team.
Yeah, and not only that, he's also having them waste their retry. The jungler is wasting their retry because she's in there, and so the jungler has to use their retry on that blue buff to secure it, so that way Masha doesn't try to steal it in some type of way. Which also slows down their jungler. So they gotta find something to where that help stop a counter of the invasion. And they did that when they banned the Ling, which would have been a good pick against it, because the Ling could have been able to get in there or counter invade their stuff. But yeah, I don't think the Basha tank jungle was a good pick in that second match.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they had a plan, and I think that plan didn't work out. I think that's what it came down to.
I mean, only time will tell. We are going to jump into this final game. It looks like Basic is coming off, and the Valley is bringing in Ballot. So we will be seeing some slightly different gameplay from the Valley this game. And, at this point, they don't have to win this game here. They're at 13 points. Even if they
have to win this game.
I mean, they do. They don't well, they don't have to win it for the top 6, is all I'm saying. I think no matter what here, they end at a number 6 spot. I have to double check over everything. Unless Deuce Knight sweeps Insomniacs. That would be the only thing.
Which I honestly don't see happening. But it could. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. It could happen. But it'd be a very tough for Deuce Knights to sweep Insomniac.
Yeah, hopefully don't have any inclement weather coming for Insomniacs. Because
here comes the DOS attacks.
All the mass inviting of their team members. But yeah, it is going to be a tight squeeze here. I don't have the experience in being let down by the underdog, so I am eager to see the Simpsons go ahead and push their way forward and hopefully be able to capture that 6th spot, which will put them into the playoffs here. And none more deserving, because they've just been since from the matches I've seen here, even the ones that I was able to cast for on Thursday, they've just been so impressive, even in their losses. So I'm very eager to see how this turns out.
Quick question. Team Sexy is top 1. I just messed up putting them there. They are top of the leaderboard right now. Yeah, they're tied in points with Area 77, but they have a better record, so they are technically number 1 right now. So technically, I mean, yes, their points are tied for first, but just because they're on the leaderboard, they're technically above them. But yes, they are tied. When it comes down to how the playoffs bracket goes down, they'll be in the number 1 position, and Area 77 will be in the number 2 position. But these teams are ready to go. We are going to start now. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Your team is banning.
Definitely want to see. Are we gonna
Masha? Grog.
Your team is banning.
Yeah, apparently. Do they have an answer for Masha?
Well, the Valley has first pick, so they're gonna. If anybody's gonna ban it, it's gonna be the Simpsons.
Yeah.
So when you have first pick, first ban, you're gonna ban, but you want to leave some meta person open to get. or you're gonna have the Simpsons waste their ban on that as
I
well.
am the priestess of primal
Looks like they
life.
weren't a fan of that Edith pick on the side of the Simpsons here. And then that leaves open, like, do the Simpsons actually have a counter or a plan for Masha, or are they just going to go ahead and ban that out?
What's your command?
And I guess we're about to find out here very shortly what they're going to do here, because you know
No
that first
any
pick-
tanks.
yeah. Even not as a tank, Fanny's just still a menace in that jungle position, especially early game. How fast she can take those buffs and get into
Oh,
the
so
enemy.
here we go with the final pick of the draft. There it is. They were not gonna give it to the Valley.
Now, I wonder if the I wonder if that's just going to become a prio pick for everybody. The Simpsons acting like it definitely is. So
Now
but the
Eve is
Valley
open.
didn't ban it last time, so kind of like
gave the
maybe
Valley
they're not
Eve.
as worried about it. They
Last
did
time
give
the
Valley
Eve was very well for them, and they might go Eve right now for a first pick.
Yeah, an Eve, but then you leave it open for an Esmeralda to be picked onto the other side there, which just can do so much damage. As soon as Eve goes into that real world manipulation, you have that falling star moon, or the moon star. I always get that confused, but when that comes down on Eve, you're just feeding Esmeralda so much, and she can do so much damage onto that Eve. And there's the Eve pick. So let's see if Cole actually has an answer for this, especially with the last game where they were actually getting, or not last game, but the second to last game, their first match of the series, where they had the answer in the Yuzong, but Yuzong was just kind of being held at that XP lane by the Esmeralda. So will they have a different strategy here to be dealing with this Eve that gave them so much trouble in that first game?
Should pick Esmeralda here.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Because even when Eve ults, and like you said, we do the ult, so Eve has a shield when he ults, and Esmeralda can eat that shield up and then ult on top of her, or ult to stun him out of it, but Eve will still have a shield that Esmeralda can feed off of. So Esmeralda is definitely a very good counter pick here for
It
Eve.
is I just want to correct that it is a root, because I played Esmeralda into Eve thinking it was a stun. It's only a root. So she will be able to still destroy your team, but you have to just stay on her and take her down quickly. So,
But Esmeralda also can eat Eve's shield, which is great. More shield for Esmeralda, the better.
I think it's really, I mean, the Eve is a wonderful, the Eve will always, for now, the Eve, I think, will always be a crucial pick. I mean, she really changes game, whether she has counters on her or not. Even her first, even just that second skill is such a wonderful tool in her kit to zone and slow people down. It's practically a Grok wall that does damage to you, you know?
yeah, and then you see, I do like this pick on the tricks, because you have somebody back there who can protect Eve. As soon as Esmeralda goes in, you can have that tricks come in and throw that Way of the Dragon onto Esmeralda to go ahead and disengage off of your Eve. So, but is that going to be enough? It's all going to come down to protecting the Eve or her getting countered here. I feel like right now from what we're seeing in the draft.
I think they're gonna. I don't know if they're trolling or they're gonna actually try another tank jungler again.
I mean,
first gourd pick.
To counter the Eve, bro. To counter the Eve, bro.
You gotta hit them Kobe shots.
You gotta counter the Eve.
Eve ults, you gotta hit them Kobe shots.
I mean,
that's what I like it.
I like the Farza pick. I like the Farza pick.
Yeah.
I feel like Farza's definitely hasn't been as popular this season, but still just a wonderful pick mechanically. We see certain majors use her so well. Ashley is a great example, one of those, always able to position herself to the right positions in the map in the early game and make some nice early game action happen.
Yeah, and then especially even before Eve got her nerfs when she came out, Farza was still a pretty big counter for her, because she does outrange her, so she can stay on the outside of that real world manipulation and still be able to rain down with that feathered airstrike onto Eve from the outside in a good position. So it's gonna be all about good positioning on the side of Navis here to be able to take out this Eve.
Actually, so Eve actually is running Purify, which would be awesome, because if Eve ults, she can Purify through his ult and then get behind her and then CC or stun Eve, just to get him out of her ult. So I think that Farza might be a really big counter for Eve as well.
Yeah, one thing I guess we really should be talking about here, though, is Guapsi on this Hylos jungle once again. I like they at this point, like I said, they're pretty much secured their top 6 spot with a win here. The only opportunity for them to lose it is if Deuce Knights clean sweeps Insomniacs, or I think maybe a 2-1 would also tie them with them. But no, they would still keep their spot, because then the Simpsons, I don't know, it's fucking up in the air. But they pretty much
That's your one curse word, guys.
I'm gonna feel, yeah, that's we're now PG-13. One thing I can say is, you know, Blacklist used to love to do this. They run the tank house, but what worked with it so well was either a Rafaela or an Estes. And you can really invade, put early pressure on that. We saw them just pick apart BTK that one game. I mean, just literally stole like every single blue buff from them by sticking that Hylos there with a nice healer behind him, and it just worked so well. What is going on?
Yeah, I just looked at it right now. Might be a little bit of a miscommunication, or maybe Guapsi just haven't changed out for his spell yet.
He's gonna change his spell. If not, if he goes Retri just to steal buffs, well, that would be actually a 5-head meta play. Have her roam with Retri.
Yeah, just running in there early game.
Yeah, just applying pressure on their jungle and just to steal just go through a Retri battle with their jungle.
Just waiting for Uzi to keep us in suspense here. Is that gonna be okay? They're gonna have the Clint out for the side of the Valley here. So then it will come down to I'm wondering if we're gonna see a lot of early pressure here from this. Oh, okay, the Roger, and I like it. Yeah, I do. I feel like Roger, he's got that early game burst. This is the perfect hero to have that early engage, that early advance, and then to keep that pressure on. Because Roger is one of those that you need to keep that pressure on. You need to keep in front, and we're going to see if the Simpsons are going to be able to stick to that game plan and push on through the Valley here.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's gonna, both teams, plenty of late game damage. Both teams, have nice tanks up front. I mean, it's hard, honestly. The only thing I do have to say is I feel like Lancelot may have a little bit more of an advantage in the early game other than Roger. But really, if Roger gets a first blood or two under his belt, it could definitely go either way here, I feel like. Just from looking at the draft. If one of you guys disagrees, feel free to say so.
You were saying that the Valley has the advantage here?
No, I would say I think it's going to come down to, I mean, I feel like both teams have either jungler. It's whoever's going to get this first blood or not. If Lancelot gets knocked back, Valley's done for. If Roger gets knocked back, I feel like the Simpsons are done for here.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to see a lot of intimidation, a lot of grouping around Uzi's lane by the Simpsons.
Chow is actually going to roam.
I like it.
So then we have a side
experience.
It's known to do well against the Esmeralda.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go ahead and try to go in on the blue buff here, at least to get some harassment here onto the side of the Simpsons here.
Damien doing the same thing right now, though. Chow did decide to back off as Damien continues to harass. He's going to force him out of that. Using that Retribution early on. Damien, though, in a bit of a bad spot here. The rest of the team chasing down. Here comes that slow. A nice knock up. This will be first blood for the side of the Valley.
Yeah, but Cole is able to pick up that Lethal Wanderer, providing him with vision, and he's going to have the XP needed through his final rotation to be able to get that level forward. It looks like Brody might actually be in trouble at the top.
Yeah, the rotation from Tricks right now, Ebor. It's definitely, I'm liking the Valley right now. They're looking fast. They're looking quick.
Yeah, I like that, and I like that they made Brody waste a flicker. So they know now Brody doesn't have a flicker, that they can now try to pick him off. But I think the Simpsons, I think he called that out, is why the Simpsons is kind of rotating up to kind of help protect Brody, because he doesn't have another escape anymore.
Yeah, interestingly enough, too, that Lolita pressuring into that blue buff, I was actually kind of questioning that, because there really isn't much Lolita can do, especially if the rest of her team isn't, like, coming to the back up there. And she did suffer, she did give up that early first blood, so I'm not sure what the plan was there, because I don't really see that you're going to be able to take that buff from a Lance, or even really slow him down as a Lolita.
Ooh, how did Cole not see Eve go in that bush? It was right in front of you.
I mean, at this point, I'm wondering if the Simpsons need, you know, we saw them in game 1 not really press too hard in the early game, and it definitely bit them in the butt, you know, it definitely left a sour taste in their mouth. I'm wondering if this time this is what we may end up seeing again. The Valley keeping the pressure on, and Cold World just kind of playing a bit more passive here along with the rest of his team.
Well, yeah, as much as you can get a little bit of creeps, we still have a fight here at the turtle here. Looks like the Valley's going to go ahead and try to contest this.
Oh, and comes that glorious pathway. Blazer taking a little bit of damage, but able to zone them away and give Cold World just enough space to get that turtle. Glopsy trying to get some damage onto Damien, not quite able to finish anything though, as Blazer heads back to base and Cold World focuses in on this blue buff private.
Yeah, and like I was saying, honestly, I would prefer the aggression and mistakes rather than being passive and letting them slowly creep forward. So, I mean, and this is where you learn. Oh,
that was close. Nice
that
positioning.
Such a high risky play.
That was. Oh, now Trix though getting a nice stun. Ballad also with the stun on Damien. Damien's feeling tanky though. Gonna be able to get away from this. Nothing major, but down in the bot, we are seeing Ballad take some damage from Cold World. He is gonna not be able to get the finish here. A nice getaway from Ballad, but they do not want to stop. In comes that airstrike to snipe out that kill. A nice play and an answer from the Simpsons.
Yeah, that was such a great play. And the Valley, what they're trying to do is they're trying to not let Cold World farm as much as he did last game. And it's kind of working for them, but not really, because the Simpsons seems to have an answer for it. Either stop the invasion in some way or, you know, counterattack. You know, the kill count's still only 1-1 just because of 2 outposition players, but for the most part, they're doing very great. As you can see, he's already invading Cold World's jungle. Their goal is to not let Cold World farm like they did last, where he was able to just free range farm and was destroying them mid late game.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it does look like Valley is starting to macro up here a bit. They did take the red buff away from him. Is this going to be enough, though, to stall out Cold World? Looks like he's going to find out that his red buff is gone soon here. We're still waiting for those first towers to go down and start to really give those teams an advantage, to really see that map open up for whichever team can get it down.
Yeah, I mean, both teams, I mean, and like you said, we're at 4 minutes and our tower has gone down yet. The bottom one, the XP lane tower is getting close. Ballot doing a wonderful job against this Esmeralda currently, but we know how deadly daggers can be. We know how deadly Uzi can be on these marksmen, especially in the late game, and neither of them have a death. Normally, gold lane, you know, there's always so much pressure on it, but right now, both sides have been doing such a good job at defending it and making sure it's even out. We are seeing a little bit of a knockup. Trix able to get that wave dragon on to Cold World, knock him away, and make sure they secure the turtle for the side of the Valley, and then they just disengage nice and patiently. Good plays, but Uzi maybe getting caught off here. Cold World does focus in. Trix here to help defend, but the damage is a lot on to daggers. Trix keeping them at bay. Cold World not wanting to push the engagement, Ebor.
Oh yeah, and the Valley's playing a much better. Oh wow, the Hylo's really dope for that. That wasn't a good play at all. I think he underestimated his damage there, but the Valley's playing a much better game.
Luminous Blast.
Nice finish though from Clint before it comes out. Glopsy now chasing down Cold World. Cold World trying to survive. Uzi in the middle, taking a bit too much damage. Able to get taken out from daggers. Trix maybe next forces the flicker out, and he's going to be able to go away. But now we're finally seeing one of the marksmen getting ahead of the other.
Yeah, they're starting to come online here. This is going to be a very dangerous position for the Valley here. They're going to need to start grouping up here and start getting... They have to make something happen here, because more and more this game is going to start inching towards the side of the Simpsons. While it doesn't look like it here, it is. They do have, what, a 500 gold lead right now, but it as far as the position...
Simpsons are behind.
Oh yeah, well yeah, they are behind, but I do feel like their presence on the map is just much more sturdier at this point.
I could agree with that for sure.
I think because the reason why they have like that small goal lead ahead of them is because that couple of evasions that they were able to successfully get. But ooh, that was some pretty good damage there. But Cold World is just, as you can tell, he's just doing what he did last game. He's just focusing on farming. He's not really getting into fights too much. He's just trying to get his scaling up to par.
Yeah, back in the mid though, Damien taking some damage, does hit that Numenon Blast onto Yuzi, but no one is there to help collect the finish. Looks like they're gonna rotate up to this gold lane and push in this tower as much as possible. I do like the pressure as they go. I mean, they're all over the place, but one thing I can say for sure, the Valley now, you know, we saw them a bit more split up last game. This time they're running a much, I was talking about Simpsons running a very tight formation. This time we're seeing Guapsi, Trix, and Nostalgia just stay together non-stop. They are gonna be able to take this turtle uncontested here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that is kind of, while Cole is farming up, this is kind of hurting him with how tight their formations are, how tight they are on the field. He's not really able to find those early game openings to where he can go ahead. And we have a falling star, an ult by Blazier onto Guapi, but not able to actually do much, but is able to actually go ahead and push the Valley away from the tower there.
Oh, daggers might get. Just got away. But yeah, the Valley is definitely controlling the map more.
Oh,
what a
TC. Nice way of the dragon. Able to finish up Damien though with the Luminon Blast. Does help out as Navis gets some nice burst damage onto Trix, but they are going to be able to go away and take that kill from Cold World safely.
Surprised that Trix got away. He tried to freestyle and failed and was actually stuck under the tower.
Yeah, and instead of using the Curse of the Crow first and then the Energy Impact, which would have stunned him under the tower, Farza went ahead and used Energy Impact first and then Curse of the Crow, and they weren't actually able to get that other auto attack that would have stunned him under tower, and he was able to safely get away.
Yeah, it was, I mean, both, again, this is game 3, and 8 kills in 8 minutes, nothing major. I mean, these are playoff type games right here. Definitely not what we've been seeing one-sided games. I mean, it could definitely go either way right now. It's going to come down to, just like before, what team makes that huge mistake. Cold World taking a bit of damage here. Yuzi keeping his distance. Railroad manipulation goes up, and down goes Cold World, and this is the mistake. This is the moment. Guapsi coming in, gets the double. Can they get a triple? Daggers taking a lot of damage, uses that torn apart memories, but is not able to take out Guapsi. Uzi wants more. He's hungry. He tries to send Daggers to the grave, but Daggers is going back to the fountain to get some help. They are going to take this red buff and move on to these towers.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with Cole going in like that, I thought there was a better plan, but as soon as he went in, I saw that Blazier was kind of far from the fight, and they weren't going to actually have an answer for that real-world manipulation, and he was, Nostalgia was actually able to take him down quite quickly.
Yeah, and Nostalgia actually was maintaining the Esmeralda. The Esmeralda was trying to get there, and Nostalgia was just slowing her down as much as possible, and it was too late for her to make a full rotation, and she had to back off.
Yeah, but they do want to keep this fight up. Feathered Airstrike does come down. Uzi a little caught off here. Tries to use that flicker, but Damien with the flicker back tricks. And Yuzu may go down here. The world manipulation is up, though, trying to slow them down, but it's just not enough. Nostalgia now back against the wall, taken out from Daggers. Guapsi maybe next. A nice double kill going into the hands of Daggers, putting him at 3-0. And we know how deadly Daggers can be on this Brody, Ebor.
Yeah, and yeah, Daggers is amazing on this Brody, and they need to find an answer for them, or he's gonna get taken over. He's gonna take over for this game.
Yeah, and they're going to actually need to do something here. You saw that they weren't actually able to get the tower. They were actually able to get kills with that absolutely picture-perfect Luminal Blast by Damien. However, you do have Ballot here at the bottom just pushing all the way to the inhibitors. So, like, it wasn't worth it, because while they did get kills, they weren't actually able to grab an objective off of that.
Big knockup, though, from Trix. Nate's taking some big damage, able to wing by wings out. Damien wastes that ultimate, though, and now it looks like the Valley's going to move into this Lord, disengage from it, move on to Blazier into this mid lane. Damien trying to keep vision, and we are seeing Ballot start to rotate up. Lord still in the, still losing health. They never lost him completely, and there is no retry here from the side of Simpsons, so Guapsi will take that uncontested. In comes that glorious pathway. Real manipulation follows up. Daggers with a nice way of the dragon. He will go down, and the killing spree's going to Guapsi. A nice play. I mean, overall, just the mechanics of being able to keep the Lord in play there, zone out that Esmeralda for enough time, then come back and finish it was just amazing, Ebor.
Yeah, and this Trix Guapsi duo that they have going on here, he is on it. Every time Chow CCs, Guapsi is right there, already ready to do any of his AoE abilities and attacks.
Oh, this could be the clean.
Oh, man.
Maze goes down. Double kill going though. A full team wipe. No Dagger still in the field, but that is a 4-man team wipe with Lord crashing down the bottom wave. The Tents counters are not that high, but it may be just enough as they have a canyon. They have super minions coming in on the Daggers. They will get a kill. Come in, lock on to this inhibitor and try to get the finish here. They're going to zone in onto that Nexus and take game 2. The Valley wins the series.
And honestly, it was almost shades of the first game where you saw the Esmeralda pushing into the Yuzong, keeping him busy over there onto that XP lane. But except this time, the Simpsons didn't answer it. They didn't stay down there, and that allowed Hylos to go ahead and push Ballot to go ahead and push all the way to the inhibitors, while the Simpsons weren't actually able to make anything happen with those 5v4s onto the Valley.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And that's why, like, even though he has bronze, because he didn't make much factor in the team fights, but just the simple fact of him holding his lane and forcing his lane deep made a really big difference for the Valley, because the Simpsons had to counter farm it or they were just going to lose it at all. And unfortunately, it just put a lot of their players out of position and put a lot of the fights becoming in the Valley. And the Chow made amazing sets. Picked off exactly who they want to do. He ulted and kicked exactly like they were on par on. He knew he wanted to kick, and every time he kicked somebody, the rest of the Valley just dominated on that. So, what's your well played by Guapsi on Lance and the Valley as a whole, and Uzi.
Yeah, I mean, just great plays, and I think there was a few. I'm trying to think of what really happened there for the Simpsons to lose that game. Roger, I know you pointed out a few times, Private, Cole Love and that Roger just didn't seem to be super effective in any of those team fights. And maybe it did have to do with the grouping up of the Valley. And I remember you mentioned it. He was never able to ever really make a big play and connect and scale. And then, I mean, ending with a 1-3 record, that's one of the worst spots you can see, Cole World. The only players that were really shining that game from the Simpsons were Blazer and were Daggers. Damien did have some decent Illuminon Blast, but it just didn't seem to be enough for the Valley.
Yeah, and maybe the answer here, because while Blazer did get MVP here and was having an effect on the playing field, he was giving up that XP lane. So maybe there was an answer that there was another rotation that could have gone, or that somebody else could have taken up his spot in that lane. Somebody else that wasn't really having a great effect on the battlefield, like maybe even Roger. But I'm not really sure how much of an effect he would have had on that Hylos pushing that so deep. But like you were saying, like with the Roger, not so much on the fault of the Roger, but on these tight rotations by the Valley, not really letting any of their players run around loosely to where Roger would be able to collapse on them, eat them up, and then disengage quickly. So he paid for every single time he went in. And then there was that one mistake where he kind of danced around during mid, and looked like he had a plan. He wanted to bait out some ultimates, but unfortunately, Blazer was kind of out of position to go ahead and stop that real world manipulation. So he got what he wanted. He baited out the ultimates, but unfortunately he paid for that with his life, and gave a big momentum push to the Valley. Most
definitely. But that is going to be it for the Valley and the Simpsons this season. We are going to see the Valley in the playoffs. The guaranteedness of whether the Simpsons make it has not been written in stone just yet. At the end of the stream, we will do a breakdown on some of this, and some of the final points will be tallied and announcements will be made. But until then, we are going to jump back to this caster's desk and get ready for the next series. And what that is Insomniacs up against Deuce Knights. Deuce Knights sitting at 11 points right now. They need a sweep. They need a sweep to go to the playoffs here. That's the only option. Sweep or go home. They're sitting at 11 points. Actually, no. If they can get a 2-1 win here. Let me take a look real fast. Let's see.
Is this some math?
Let's do some math. let's math
Pull
it
out
up
your
a little bit.
calculators, nerds.
If Deuce Knights get a 2-1 sweep here, a 2-1 win here, puts them at 13 points, which will guarantee them that 6th place spot. The Valley sitting at 14 points right now. The Simpsons tied with Aether Explicit for 6. So Deuce Knights, what they need here, all or nothing. You know, go home, go hard or go home. They got to get at least a 2-1 win here.
2 points for a sweep or 3, you said?
3 points for a sweep, 2 points for a 2-1.
And then their record would be, okay.
So either 13 or 14.
How do okay, because the Sims have one more loss, but that's only because it was just the best of 3.
Now, if they only win 1 game here, and Aether Explicit, the Simpsons, and Deuce Knights are all tied at 12 points, what it will be is it'll go down to the match win-loss ratio. So right now the Simpsons. So technically, right now the Simpsons are not beating Aether Explicit because they're sitting at 3 and 6. So technically, Aether Explicit is above them, even though they're both tied for 12th place, 12 points, you know? Deuce Knights, if they get 12 points, they'll also be sitting at 3 and 6. So the Deuce Knights have to, if they can win this game with 2-1 and get to, the only way Deuce Knights makes it play is if they win this. That's it. They have to win this.
Doesn't have to be a sweep, though.
It doesn't. It could be a 2-1, and they'll kick Aether Explicit out of there, and they'll take that number 6 spot. But if they do not win this, no playoffs for them.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a pretty difficult game for Deuce Knights.
Most definitely. Insomniacs are monsters.
Yeah, and big shout out to the Simpsons. They are
a new thing.
I was honestly very impressed by how they handled that second game, but unfortunately the third game, I guess, it just wasn't enough. But congrats to them, even though they ideally are not going to be making it to the playoffs here, regardless of how these future matches turn out.
Yeah, I don't really see Insomniacs getting swept by Deuce Knights, but
no,
you never know.
Deuce Knights has played a good game, though. I will say the Deuce Knights have been stepping up their game a lot, but I don't know if they can win. I don't know. I don't see them sweeping them no matter what. I don't think it's going to be a 2-0, but maybe they get a 2-1, possibly. Depends how much Insomniacs want to troll here.
I don't think. And so like these other teams that are guaranteed in, and seeding is not really much. I mean, they're looking at a seeding on who they want to play, like maybe the first round of the bracket or stuff, because it's not random, right? You're doing a seeding player bracket.
It's not random, so it's a seeding, yeah. So
I wonder if they're trying to think about like a seeding perspective, because if not, if they don't care about it, they may actually try some new metas or something that they wanted to test in a pro scene rather than like a random public match or whatever, to see if it'll work. Maybe for like one match, we may see some crazy pick from Insomniacs. They were like, what is this? It might be just because they're just trying new things. I wouldn't say they're trolling in the perspective. But yeah, I think Deuce Knights, though, they're gonna try to go full on. They're gonna try to go for the sweep.
Yeah, I mean, Deuce, they have to. They want to. And Deuce Knights, like easy peasy. The captain of Deuce Knights, like, he's real chill. And the Deuce Knights is another team that almost always makes their games on times. They do the deal. They're here to play. And easy peasy, he doesn't seem to be the one to just like mess around, like he's always gonna play his hardest. I don't think I never see him really troll or anything. Quick shout out to my boy Todor. What's up? Welcome to the show. Before we jump into this game, quick shout out to all the mods. Ritz, thank you for always hanging out in every stream. Exia, Mace Guy, Rita, all you guys. Shout out to all the teams, the players, everybody. Seriously, shout out to the data collectors, Diosito, Rita also, the guy who helps me with all of these overlays, Ravi. Shout out Chris Fontanas, Ivor. But most of all, big shout out to our major sponsor this season, and that is United Farmers X. They sponsored the whole the starting off prize pool this season, and what they are is a cryptocurrency company. They are launched by a group of passionate professionals who have been scammed, rug pulled, and lied to in the past. Their aim is to provide an extremely safe and expansive ecosystem that includes yield farming and automated market making for the Binance Smart Chain network, and have many more exciting projects in development like NFTs. They are a fully doxed, very responsive and trustworthy team with commitment to the growth and success of the ecosystem. They have a passion to help you make passive income. And for those that have no clue what I just said, they are a cryptocurrency company that if you have some extra cash, you know, and you want to put $50 down, you can possibly make a little passive income, you know, make a little extra cash off of that, a little bit of investment without you having to do a drop of work. What I like most about them is that they are completely transparent. They have a Discord, a subreddit, YouTube, websites. They have the whole deal, and you can go into any of these platforms at any time and ask questions, and they are there to answer them. So make sure you guys give them a look-sees. All of their links are in the descriptions, so don't forget to check them out.
Yeah, and I think I saw, or I remember you saying something, even Moontoon is chipping in now. They're gonna, what is it, like 50k diamonds going into the tournament?
Big announcement, guys. Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler. If people are in the Discord, they would know these things. We do, wait 1 second.
I was just like,
late. Insomniacs have until 9/17. All right. So we got approval from Moonton to sponsor this for 50,000 diamonds. So we will be having 50,000 diamonds added to the prize pool. Not only that, but if you want to, feel free to donate to this league, where 20% goes to the prize pool, 20% goes to the casters, and 20% goes to other people. It's all laid down in the GoFundMe page. So if you want to help support this league, which is a grassroots movement, I've definitely lost more money than I've made off of this. Feel free to check out the GoFundMe by clicking !donate. But yeah, 50,000 diamonds from Moonton will be sponsored into the prize pool of this, so that's going to be added on. We've not decided on the exact splitting of that. It's brought to my awareness that maybe all 6 teams that make it to the playoffs should get a little something, so that is a possibility also. So yeah.
What would you do with all that, with that many diamonds?
I'd spend it all on one of the gacha things. I'd try to get one of those.
For a single skin or a bunch of frames?
I mean, you get a bunch of other skins along with it, so.
Gosh. Oh, those.
You know,
the
like
new one, the Hello Kitty one.
Yeah, whatever's the biggest scam, that's what I'd spend it all on.
Yeah.
Which right now is the Hello Kitty one.
Since we're on a little break, let me tell you your story, right? I wanted the Angela skin so bad. I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm gonna dump a bunch of money, try to get this skin. First skin I get, Claude. I'm like, all right, this skin looks cool, even though I only have 2 matches with Claude. Next skin, I'm like, all right, well, you know what? There's the Chanje skin. I actually have like 200 matches with Chanje. I like the Chanje skin. Nope, I get Florine. I'm like, oh my god.
Dirty.
Yeah. So I did get the Chanje skin, but I was like, I'm not giving Boontoon any more money because I missed out on the Angela skin.
You can tell us, how much are you in the hole for this?
How much are you?
Oh, for this game? Oh my god! If I was to sell my account, it's
whole game.
You talking about just the game, or like?
No, just for these skins. For these skins.
That's what I'm saying. How much money I spent on this whole game for the skins? Oh man, I would say about $2,000.
I used to do skin reviews, so I would always spend money on the good skins, which definitely another thing I never profited off of.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing though. So I spent a lot on the Esme hero skin, because I mean that was, come on. Let's just be real here.
It's actually one of the best.
It's definitely one of the top skins in the game, and we all know why. But then when I went to get the villain skin for the guy with the spear, I'm having total mind blank.
Alpha?
I actually got really lucky And I always thought it was a lie whenever someone's like, oh, I got it on like 20 pulls or whatever. I got that on like my second 10 times pull. So I got it on like 20 pulls.
Oh, wow.
I got like the random one, like not like waiting all the way to the end. I got the random one, luckily. It was crazy.
I wish I can sort this by epic skins. I'll tell you how many. It's a lot of money.
To those that also don't know, the main reason why you always see all the cool skins in this league is because the tournament lobby allows you to use any skin you want when you're playing. So all of these players have full access to all skins. They also have full access to level 60 emblems, even though I'm sure all these players have that. But if they didn't, you would have max out emblems and you have access to any skin in the game, essentially.
What would you say is your favorite skin?
I just told Esmeralda.
Good one.
Just Esmeralda one?
No, honestly, you know what one of my favorite skins is? The Y skin, the Wii skin on Ruby, the ice skin. It's one of my favorite
Really?
skins.
The one you get from the Starlight shop?
It's simple. I'm not a big fan of like super flashy skins. I like just like that, and I really like the Popo and Koopa skin where he's like with the skull on his head and stuff. It's simple, but it has a really good, like they got it to the point. They made a good execution of what they were trying to do, and they didn't go overboard with it.
Yeah, but I think my favorite skin is the Veil Legend skin. That's actually my #1 skin I love that I have right now. I do also like the SD's skin, the purple dark one. I forgot what it's called.
I'm
trying to pull it up
Like
right
a
now.
dragon, is it?
No, it's called. Oh wait, I have the painted skin too. I can't remember what the normal, but it's like the one where he's like dark, where he has like a painted face. It's all purple.
Who is it? Who?
Estes.
Oh, it's like he's all evil looking. Yeah.
Yes, he's all evil. It's a special skin. But I have the painted one, which makes it all red, and it looks fantastic. Like, it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah, one of the painted skins I love is that Roger Pirate one, the red Roger Pirate one. Even though I absolutely am balls with Roger. That makes me so sad. Yeah, I'll go through my skins every now and then, and I'll see that skin. I'm like, yeah, let's practice that today, and then it's gone. The next day, I'm just like, nah, we're gonna leave that down. But mine is absolutely, I absolutely love the Yoda Cyclops. I cherish that thing.
Star Wars skins. Yes, actually, I'm jealous because I don't have a hookup in the Philippines that I trust to get me that skin. Or I would have all 3 Star Wars skins if I could.
I hear people have used VPNs to get these skins.
What? Who?
What? No.
I just heard a rumor.
No way.
Listen, man, they're listening in on this stuff.
Yes.
I can't have you guys. I'm wired up, as you can tell. But
I don't know
guys.
Priv8 Dancer. If you're listening, my FBI agent, I don't know Priv8 Dancer.
Nana Slumber Party for Ritz. Gross. That is a cool skin. A friend of mine actually bought a onesie that looks just like hers. The Roger Prime
Nana
skin.
Slumber Party?
Yeah, the Slumber Party.
Oh
Nana.
yeah, a new Prime one. Yeah, that one's actually.
Pajama Nana.
You know what skins I hated? That were all hyped up? I did not like any of the Autobot skins. I thought they all looked like crappy toys.
Yeah, I didn't like
The
Export's
Granger
animation.
one?
I think
Oh
they
my
need
God.
a revamp on that. The export animation is just so trash. Like, it's really hard to tell where the end of his actual attack is.
The Johnson one's the only decent one, I think.
Yeah, even the Granger one. There's something to be said about the effects of some of these skins, because like I felt like the Granger, the Megatron one, it makes his damage or his ult just seem like it's not doing anything. Like it's just the sound effects for it. I wasn't a huge fan.
Hold
of
up. They're ready. All team members are in. Everybody's readied up. We don't need a ping check because they know what Central feels like at this point. Enough skin talk. We'll get to it later. Let's jump into this game. Insomniacs will have first pick. Well, let me tell them real fast. So, I've asked you guys before. Final guess. Who do you give it to, Ebor?
I'm going to give first match to Deuce Knights.
First match
And
at Deuce Knights.
that's it. That's all they're getting.
That's all
Then
they're
they're
getting.
No,
Yeah,
they're getting comp the next 2 matches.
Yeah, for a lot of the history of this league, I've seen the first match be more of a testing ground that some of these higher tier teams use to kind of like pull out these out of the box picks, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So if they're going to get a victory, that first match is where I feel like Insomniacs might be the weakest.
Yeah, I mean,
I wonder if they saw the first match and they're gonna ban Masha here. Honestly.
Yeah, I feel like. Wait 1 second. No, it's not a test. I just got a message from Ashley saying, "Is this a test? Is this a pink test?" And I was like, no.
No, you have 12 seconds to pick.
Yeah.
Or maybe ban.
This Fanny ban does come in against Easy Peasy, I'm guessing, right there. And we know he does. Easy Peasy's definitely an assassin user. We've seen him play Monstrous on the Ling and the Lancelot. So I'm wondering if maybe that's going to be just a straight target. You know, do you think they just really try to target out Easy Peasy here?
Well, I mean, you saw how that worked out. We talked about this on Thursday, where Sexy was pretty much forcing these outside the box bans from the other team, and that's not a game that you want to play against an enemy. Is banning what they want, because then you're leaving open. You're not actually working towards your comps. You're working towards some whatever. You're not working towards your composition. You're not giving.
I thought I heard you say something else. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not working towards your composition. You're not taking out the things you're not filling the holes in your competition. You're just working towards their game, which is banning these outside the wall picks. So that's most of the time that works against teams.
It's true, and we know that Chow. I mean, but they take out the Chow. I think that's one advantage of being first pick, because you don't have to ban the Masha. You don't really have to ban the Valentina if you want to. You can just straight target ban and let them leave things open to you. But we all are seeing some of those staple bans with the Valentina and the Vibor.
I wonder, because a lot of picks lately is either going to be an Esmeralda or a Mage. And it's Esmeralda.
It's a good first pick. I'm not going to explain it again. I explained it last game, but it's a good first pick.
It is. You know, it's a very solid pick, for sure.
Oh, and there is the Grok answer for that.
Oh, I didn't notice they did Grok didn't get banned. That's a really good pick. This is
that's what I was wondering here, too, because we did have the Esmeralda and Grok open, too. Grok has been so strong now that he scales with physical damage. He's an absolute monster out there, if played right. I do see the sprint on him, though. I'm wondering if they're going to change that over to a flicker.
Oh, is it going to be an EXP lane Grok? Is that what we're going to see right here?
Yeah, he's not going to be a roam Grok. Grok is now does pretty well in the experience lane. I don't know if he'll go good against the Esmeralda though, because I think he's mostly scales with magic damage. So I mean, against physical damage. So magic damage really hurts him still.
It does still hurt him, but a lot of Groks can cover up that whole pretty early game with some magic defense. On this side, I'm not sure you're going to be wanting to see an Athena shield on a Grok, because Esmeralda's going to be eating that up. But most definitely
you don't want an Athena shield for anybody.
You're most definitely going to be seeing a. Oh my God! The name is eluding me. The other armor for magic damage.
Oh, radiant armor.
Radiant armor. There we go. So definitely eager to see how this Grok can have a play here in the XP lane, especially against Esmeralda, which has just been dominating that lane in this league.
Oh, we do see a Ling pick though, which is going to be nice on Easy Peasy. Actually, I'm really liking Deuce Knight's team so far. I really am. They have a really good burst mage. They have a really good tank. And then they got Ling now as well.
Yeah, and I mean, Easy Peasy, we've seen it before. We'll see it again, I'm guessing now. He is a monster on that Ling. He does a wonderful job. The problem, the only problem is teams, I mean, Insomniacs also have a nice tanky XP laner. Of course, Grok right now is questioned to possibly be a better one at this point. But they've also I would say that Kagura will probably have the advantage in the early game against that Lunox. But again, this Lunox can also be a flexible pick. They can put it in the gold lane if they want to. We know Merciless can play it. They definitely have plenty of options on the side of Insomniacs right now still.
The only problem I see with the Ling pick is, especially on the side of Insomniacs here, if you're going in with the Ling and you're going to go for that ult, you do have the Lunox, you do have the Lancelot, who can pretty much negate any damage from that. Lancelot with that his triangle. The name eludes me right now. And then with the light ult,
Rose something.
Thorns, Rose, Triangle. It just
triangle. We'll just shout things. And it's fun. Rose, triangle coming in.
But it does open some things up, because if he goes in, he is going to have to contend with that, and then with the light ult from Linux.
Yep. And they did a good ban with the Jawhead, because they were kind of hovering over Jawhead, and they know that Jawhead would actually can do a pretty good against Ling, just to trying to help him not get all his blades, so that now he can't get on the wall after an ult. So that's actually a really good ban by Deuce Nice here to help out with the Ling.
So
it looks
quick, I just want to say something. So I had someone ask me a question from the side of Insomniac saying, "Can we bring the music bot into our Discord channel?" They're really just trying to vibe out. I love it. I like it. I think it might mess with communication a little bit, but I would love to just like go into one of these VCs one time and just hear some real trap music playing. All of them are completely silent, just slaying through the field.
With the Ruby ult, or the Ruby ban on the side of Insomniacs, I'm wondering if they're looking to pick up a Paquito, or just something that her CC would be trying to negate out of here. Looks like they're hovering over some of these Cyclops there for Merciless. I doubt that's going to be the pick that they're going to want to go for here.
Yeah, so I think Lunox is going to go lane. And I think that's why they're picking a mage here. I think Lunox is going to go gold lane, and they're going to have a mage, and then they're going to Edith Roam? Oh, no, I don't... You know how I feel about Edith Roams. They're hit or miss. They're like Franco.
Like Edith, man. You really
I love Edith, but not as a roam. Edith is amazing experience lane. Even as a gold lane, she's really good in the gold lane as well. But as a roam, I don't know. I just don't...
Okay.
There is, I feel kind of the opposite. I feel like her CC, especially early game, once she gets level 2, that's just 2 huge CCs to be able to initiate those fights. And she has just such, especially with how tanky she gets, she just has such a huge presence with those CCs, and it just really sets up some great team fights when you're able to pick out those characters. It looks like we do have a Claude and a Hylos on the side of
I think they probably saw the last match and saw how well Hylos did against Esmeralda, and so they're just trying to mimic that. Like, all right, you picked Esmeralda, that's fine. We'll just go Hylos and match it up with you, and that should take care of the Esmeralda.
But is this Hylos going to be in the lane, or is he going to be roaming here? Because you're still, that means that you're going to be putting the Grok into the roaming position here if you're going to have Hylos going head to head with Esmeralda.
Yeah, so Hylos does have execute rather than like a flicker or a purifier or anything. So I would think that he's gonna go experience lane.
Up against
because Grok has support emblem.
He does.
Yeah, against Esmeralda.
It's true. I mean, again, it's just one of the things that I think about having these tanks become back to the meta is you always have that flexibility, and we are seeing, just like the side of Insomniacs, they answered with some flexibility themselves. Lunox, Merciless has picked up this Lunox. I'm wondering how well this Lu Yi is gonna do. I guess against the Hylos and the Grok, heavy engagers, it may be able to stop them a little bit. She may be able to get a nice lockdown onto Ling, but I think she's gonna be a crucial player, and if she can't do well, it could possibly be the death of Insomniacs in this game.
Yeah, you have that Ling and that Kagura that are going to be able to dive back line onto Lao Yi. So it's all going to come down to positioning and how they can peel for that Lao Yi during these fights where you have those 2 main slow tanks up in front.
They have asked for a pause. We're just going to see what's happening real fast. Maybe they're trying to get that music bot going.
Seriously, about that music.
Seriously, though. So while we're doing this, I'm going to put a quick poll in the chat. Make sure you guys let us know, who do you think's going to win this series? Deuce
Nice. Surprised they banned Jawhead.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm climbing back up, man. I'm climbing back up. I'm number 5 in Florida.
Deuce Nice ban that, though?
Yes.
It's a strong counter to Ling, so kind of.
Yeah, he is.
It's a nice counter to Ling.
Yeah.
So who do you give the early game to, guys? Ebor.
I will give it to which one is this blue team?
That's Insomniacs.
Insomniac. I would give it to Insomniacs. I would say they had the Luo Yi and the Lancelot with the Edith. You know, those are pretty good damage dealing for an early game, especially the Edith. Surprisingly, her first heal and her lightning little passive, it actually, when you don't have any items, it actually hits pretty hard against some of these little squishier heroes. So I would say the early game is going to, and especially the Lunox is going to bully that Claude in the goal lane. So early game is 100% Insomniacs.
All right, only time will tell. How about you, Private?
Now, I'm going to have to agree, especially with this Grok going to be on the roam. I'm not a huge fan of what he can do in that roam position. I feel like he's more of a bully when he's in the XP lane. But, I mean, only time will tell here. He does have a lot of damage, and he does, with how he's sticking to the walls, he can just have a ton of defense. It's just, I don't really favor him as in that position. So I'm going to have to give the early game to Insomniacs.
I mean, hold on, guys, because... Wait 1 second. Merciless taking a bit of damage here. Darwin trying to close the distance. Hendrix. In comes Easy Peasy. Gonna be able to get that first blood. A nice pick on to Merciless in that bottom lane. And the thing is Grok, yes, he's now shining in the XP lane. He is now shining in the XP lane, but he has always been, you know, a A-tier tank. Maybe B tier for a small amount of time, but in the right tank's hands, I mean, Zoltra, Shark, plenty of tanks. I mean, he's just an even better tank now, I feel like.
Well, I feel like it does come down to the mobility of your enemy and the CC that they have, because you do kind of see Grok's, him coming from a mile away most of the time. It's just a lot of the times when he's so close to that wall, and what type of boots he has, he can just close that distance so fast and then punish you with just an immense amount of damage. Yeah. So I guess time will tell. See how this goes off, how Hendrix plays on him.
I love the way Pogi is rotating around Easy Peasy. He's going to get knocked up here. Hatazaru taking a bit of damage. May go down, force the flicker back, not quite able to get away as Fleur is able to get that kill. Easy Peasy with the Tempest of Blades, gets a little bit of burst damage on to Gaslight, but it's going to back off. But now sitting at 2-0, Deuce Knights taking the lead more into their hands, Ebor.
Funny thing is, on the top lane, you know, they're doing their little experience dance, but at one point Hylos was really pushing Esmeralda back for a while. You know, I don't know if Hylos really is the counter for Esmeralda or not, because I mean now Hylos loses, but for the while, like, he was really forcing her back in her tower. She just sit there. But there was a great engagement in the beginning by Deuce Knight to really put some pressure on Insomniacs early. Yeah, made me bite my words and everything I said about Insomniacs.
Look at Hendrix with the stun. Able to get some damage. Fleur keeping some distance. Lauyi does get the knock on onto Hendrix, and that's what I was talking about. They need to be careful, but Easy Peasy is now coming in onto Galaxy in the back lane. He does have that Tempest of Blades ready to go, but he doesn't want to use it prematurely. Able to secure that Lord without it. Juju's got his back, pushing them away, and Deuce Knight's just keeping a strong lead right now. Private.
Yeah, and a beautiful engagement by Easy Peasy, knowing his distance, and even against that Lao Yi, like, I just stepped off. You saw him narrowly miss that Yin Yang from Lao Yi, which would have kind of put him into a coma, and the rest of the team would have jumped onto him. We have a little bit of a fight up here, those little wet noodle fights that you get from these two heavy hitters up at the top.
Hold on, so wait, is Darwin... for a second I thought Darwin's been mid this whole time. No, he's just rotating up, clearing this wave. We are seeing a bit of a group up here, down here in the bot lane. Wondering if we're going to see a play here. Merciless connecting onto this gold plating, but he decides to back off. Insomniac starting to play a bit more of a patient game here, Ebor.
So I think they know on D6 when they came off pretty aggressive and they got up 2 kills. I think they realized, all right, let's take it back a little bit and let's play our game what we need to do.
Yeah, wisely not trying to engage too hard onto them.
Nice flick. Fleur flickers to close the distance, connects that umbrella and gets the kill. Nice play. Easy Peasy though, coming in, hits that Tempest of Blades, lands right on top, gets the knock up onto Ashley. Maybe able to finish some nice mechanics onto that wall, and it's gonna be able to get the finish. Pogi now on his lonesome under this tower. That was smooth. That was really smooth right there.
Yeah, and he definitely knows his lane, especially like what Private said earlier, because he was literally just dodging out of Luo's thing, so he knows the full range of his hero for sure.
Yeah, and unfortunately now, oh god, we have another fight up here. It looks like
Yeah.
Galaxy might be going down.
And he does a nice
Yeah,
finish.
the execute.
What a kill steal.
Kill stealer.
Kill stealer. Someone's
Yeah,
banned that Hylos.
Report
Yeah.
Hylos.
And unfortunately, Lao Yi does. I feel like she does need a front line for her, like especially when you're going against somebody like a Ling or a Roger or anybody who's got that mobility on her, like because you're just gonna be throwing your yin yangs left and right and missing. So unless it's a huge team fight where you can like maybe bounce that first ability off and let it spread and spray into everybody else, you're gonna have trouble trying to hit a Ling who knows what he's doing and like kind of like left and right up in front of your face.
But Ling definitely, I feel like even though he definitely got a buff with his damage, but that whole increase to his first skill really allows him to, he can't go in, dive off a wall, like dash on you a bunch of times and then dash out and then climb on the wall again. Either if he ults and grabs some swords, he can, but if he doesn't, if he misses a sword, he literally is going to be walking for at least 10 seconds before he can jump back on the wall.
Yeah, you have to be a lot more mechanically inclined and, choose your fights a bit more. You're not as mobile as you used to be. Yes, you have. I think he's almost more based for this early game even more now. Easy Peasy does secure that turtle. Bogey gets caught off. Tempest of Blades comes down, and he's not even able to ult away. Hazaru may be next. Easy Peasy bouncing around with the double kill, exerting his pressure on this map right now. Back in the back line, Ashley also taking some damage from Fleur. They just can't seem to do anything about this Ling right now.
Yeah, just some absolutely great timing on Ling with that Tempest of Blades to go ahead and even take down the Lance before he was able to ult away. I actually thought Lance was going to be able to get away and cleaned him up very nicely. Easy Peasy just showing some remarkable talent on this Ling.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially the timing with the Clint. The Clint was waiting. The Tempest Blade came down, so once the Tempest Blade hit the ground, Clint ulted as well, and both their damage just came in down hard.
And another Tempest of Blades coming down, able to almost take out Esmeralda, but instead they take that tower. Deuce Knight's just keeping heavy pressure all over the map, and this is what I was saying, man. This is what I was talking about before. I know you guys haven't seen Deuce Knights play a lot, but Easy Peasy on this Ling just knows how to assert that early game pressure so well. His presence is felt all over the map. The question is, can he keep it up into this mid to late game? Will they just completely steamroll, or will there be a mistake that Insomniacs can capitalize as we reach into the middle of this game?
Yeah, right now Grok is starting to get farmed out. The rest of the team is starting. This is like what shades of the last series that we saw. They're keeping on the pressure here, and Easy Peasy doesn't show any signs of slowing down here. He's finding the openings. Even with what I was concerned with during the draft is whether or not he was going to be able to get this Linux or get this Lance, and he's showing that his timing and how his use of this Ling is like second to none right now.
Oh, Easy Peasy coming in close distance, hits that Tempest of Blades right on top of Gaslight, gets a knock up and the kill. Juju now onto the back of Hate, gonna do some damage. A nice knock up from Hezbollah, and down goes Hazaru. Two members down at the 5-for-1 trade. Darwin closing the gap, hits that blazing duet, and is getting the kill onto Galaxy, able to flicker out.
No, he's dead, he's dead. Oh, no.
He's not. He will get away. Oh, my God.
You guys see that tower shot that chased him?
What a play. What a play.
That tower shot literally chased him, but man.
Listen here, Ebor. One more time you call Claude Clint, we're going to have to ban you from the chat, all right? They're noticing. The chat's noticing.
They both have a gun.
They both have a gun.
One has a monkey, the other one doesn't. Whatever.
And Lord pick up my Deuce Knights here, so we're going to see how well they can manage these lanes and go ahead with this push. They should be able to make short work of this mid and gold lane tower, and only have at the very most the inhibitors left.
Yeah, I mean, with Lord pushing in, can they take an inhibitor here is the real question. Easy Peasy sitting at 6-0 right now. We've already seen how now Darwin's doing some nice damage on this Claude. Hendrik Lobzol walks right into that bush unscathed, not a worry in the world. And the thing is with these Wade, hey, getting a nice knock up, not quite able to get it. Hendrik Lobzol with the outplay, able to knock him up. Easy Peasy in the back line, takes out, make it a double. Merciless maybe next, he does collect it back onto the wall, and he's ready for another one. Easy Peasy makes it look easy.
It's just an amazing play. It gets all of it after the Tempest of Blades, gets all of his swords, able to wall jump, and then come down and even last hit that tower on the way down. And this is already spread up into like a 12k gold lead for the side of Deuce Knights.
Yeah, and with Lord coming in, they are definitely gonna possibly, maybe not. We're waiting for it, not able to quite get the inhibitor, but still an amazing push. Blur, though, looking a little bit, I mean, they just can't seem to pick anybody off, and every time they try to make a play, in comes Easy Peasy or the rest of the team to push forward, and this is what I mean. Juju and Merciless creating the distance in the opening for Easy Peasy to come in and get another kill onto Esmeralda, bouncing off the wall, back into the map, and just, I mean, doing damage as Darwin gonna, oh, I thought we were gonna see a blazing duet there for a second.
Yeah, it's when you're this far behind, there's not much you can do as you're seeing all these lanes crash into you every single fight, and especially the aggression on the side of Deuce Knights. What do you do when you're this far behind? Any type of fight you're going to lose. I mean, you have to wait for a mistake and hope that they make one that you can capitalize off of.
Yeah, they just need a turtle. You know, right now, if they turtle, the only thing that the Deuce Knight can do is just wait for the next Lord so they can get a good push in. But right now, that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to turtle, which sucks because they're just going to take all their jungle, all their farm, and they're just not going to allow them to. What the counter for that is that Deuce Knight needs to freeze these lanes and not push them, not clear the lanes. Force them to come out of the base, because right now, as you can see, they're just going to sit in their base. They're too far behind right now.
Turtle up, don't give up. Turtle up.
And here comes the Lord. So I mean, with them freezing the lanes like that, they're gonna come in, or they'll use the Luo Yi to get out of base and try to get behind them.
Well, I do feel like maybe with the Lao Yi,
She's doing it now.
Oh,
Yeah.
she was about to. They were thinking about it. They were thinking. You saw them all group up. They're like, "Do we make the Yi play right here? Do we make the Yi play?" I mean, I haven't seen a lot of teams do amazing with the mechanic. Like, you know, Nicolette does such an amazing job with that Eve, and I haven't seen a lot of other teams really master the mechanics of that ultimate and use it to its maximum capabilities. But Lord is up now. Does Insomniacs try to contest this private?
I mean, honestly, there's no other real choice, but what they're doing right now is nice. They're not even going to go for the Lord. They're going to keep on baiting it, and they're just going to try to get a kill, so that this Lord is going to be like a very easy win for them. I mean, can you get a good pickup? Oh, here's the teleport.
Hold on. We do see the teleport up into the top, trying to close in. The Easy Peasy is ready. Tempest of Blades goes off. A nice knockup from Hayde, though. Easy Peasy forced out of there. In comes Blazing Duet, though. Down goes Ashley. But the immortality pops. No, Ashley and Hayde are both taken off the map. Fleur able to get another one. Merciless is gone. Easy Peasy on the chase. Takes out Galaxy. A valiant effort. But Deuce Knights capitalize on that win, and they don't even want Lord. I think they're going to try to finish game right here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's not really much that you can do in that type of situation. I mean, they lost it, but honestly, I probably wouldn't have done anything differently, and I don't think a lot of people could have. You need to make something happen, and unfortunately, sitting in your base isn't going to cut it. And while you are going to be safe in there, you're just waiting for, ultimately, for Deuce Knights to come and finish the job. So, I mean, valiant effort, but unfortunately didn't go on the side of Insomniacs there.
Yeah,
I think right now this might be GG's. They're just way too far ahead. They're almost double their goal lead right now.
And then something like that happens. Ashley is picked off. Like, they can't even bush check right now. There's almost everybody on the side of Deuce Knights can one-shot them. Galaxy, I mean, Esmeralda, one of the tankiest people in the game around the 13-minute mark, is just getting 8 and up. Easy peasy, sitting at a completely clean game of 11-0-4 right now, Private.
Yeah, and absolutely crisp plays. Crisp, like, I was going to say fingers. Like, I wish I could play assassins like that. Ling and Lance being those characters that people who are mechanically inclined just shine and easy peasy, just taking them to school here. It's unfortunate. I said like this would be the game where they would be able to the easiest game, I guess, where they would be able to mount a comeback.
In for the finish here. Easy peasy though. Hits that Thomas the Blades. Gets knocked up. Forced to back off. Madal here with the Blazing Duet doing some nice burst damage. Easy peasy dancing around as he usually does. Gunarda and Merciless all down along with the Nexus, and Deuce Knights take game 1.
Knight about to slip into the 6th spot?
I don't know.
If they play like that next match,
Yeah.
and you know that's a sweep, and they get right into the 6th spot.
Yeah, that didn't look like people messing around with a comp or anything like that. That was easy peasy coming in and just absolutely like dominating. And this like as we said before that, like this would the first game would probably be the one where Insomniacs might be a little lacking or might be trying some things out, but that's not what this looked like. This was an absolute like just domination for Deuce X.
22-1. It was a murder. I'm talking about once they got the lead, Deuce Knights, they just swept through. They knew they had it. And this is what we talked about earlier with some other teams. Like, when you have that assassin as your jungle, like, the Lancelot, or you have someone that really snowballs, you need to know how to just push forward and not even let it get to the end game, stay ahead. And that is exactly what Deuce Knights did there.
Yeah, and then just trying to get a hold onto this Ling. Like when I see games like this, I'm like, what would I do? And I'm like, with the way he's playing this and dancing around there, collecting his swords, all still able to get the damage in on them. And even Galaxy on that Esmeralda, probably one of the prime S tier XP laners, having trouble, not able to really cope with the pick on Juju with this Hylos.
It seems to be the counter pick for Esmeralda. A lot of teams have been doing. We've seen it twice already. I didn't think the Lunox pick was a good pick, especially with a Ling. You want like a type of MM that will kind of help burst out damage when he's like trying to dive in and dash around. But also with your positioning, you don't want to be the target for Ling. But Easy Peasy did an amazing job. Honestly, I don't think how else it was up, because there was times Edith did get the CC off, time to great, got both CCs off, and then it didn't matter. The rest of the team was just there to just help out Ling.
Well, I guess we're going to have to see. This time we will see Deuce Knights with first pick here. Can they make the biggest upset of the night and completely sweep Team Insomniacs right here? I mean, it's a huge play if they do. The Masha getting banned off. I'm guessing this Masha ban is just going to start becoming a complete staple.
Yeah, she's just so powerful now, and until there's an actual answer for it, which I haven't seen yet. I don't know, like, especially those 1v1ers in XP lane. I don't know. It's not my forte with them, and she's so strong. I think I even played Assassin Grok against her, and she was still just destroying me and slowing me. I don't know what you can do besides banning a Masha out like that. And then we see that the Valentina gets banned here. Just still a strong pick, even with her slight nerfs to her passive.
Your team is banned.
I wonder if they're trying to go for another Ling pick here, because they banned out the show. They're trying to just bet you this won't be another CC hero pick that they don't want to go up against, and they may try to go for another Ling pick here.
I think
I wouldn't give him Ling again.
No.
If I was Insomniac, I would ban Ling your next ban.
I mean, there's definitely some counters to it, and there's definitely, but the thing is sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet, and Easy Peasy, he's shown time and time again that when that Ling falls into his hands, he is able to wreak havoc. And I don't care what counters you do, you really want to focus two picks of yours just to countering that Ling, and you leave yourself super open.
It's gonna be Esmeralda pick, especially those bans was kind of like a help against Esmeralda as well.
You think so?
Yeah,
Does
and you brought up a good
go for that.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Esmeralda open. You know what I haven't seen here? It's just still I consider a pretty strong pick on the XP lane has been that Uranus, and I've seen him a lot, just not in this.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Got him hot.
I was gonna say, like, Bendo's playing.
Stop.
Yeah, but then while we saw, like, are they gonna go ahead and pick up the Hylos for that lane, or do they have another answer for the amount of damage and what Esmeralda can put out in that early to mid game, and then going into the late game? Because Hylos has been the answer thus far in this season for the for the Esmeralda.
So the question is, does does Insomniacs, like we haven't seen them really pull out any of the newer meta since the recent patch. Have they caught up, or are they still sitting a little bit behind? And as we just saw, you know, we see Deuce Knights bring in the Grok, they bring in the Hylos, they bring in something that's not as usual, and they're able to wreck through, and it looks like Insomniacs are going for practically the same thing they always go for.
I think the pack was to help against the Ling, but they gave easy peasy Ling again. Yeah, they're going to the same picks.
That's rough.
Apparently, I'm guessing they're just really confident in that Paquito's ability to be able to help Ling or help to disengage whoever Ling goes ahead and attach onto. I just don't see how. He's so fast on that Ling and just knows exactly where he's going. And even when he did get caught, like able to disengage so quickly and find a way out that where he didn't get hurt.
Then they go Eudora.
I mean,
Eudora.
we saw Eudora hard
just
counter.
Focus him. Eudора's only job is to just focus Ling.
One shot him. And it's honestly wouldn't be a bad pick. They did lock in the Lilia though, but like we saw Eudora hard counter Fanny in the beginning of this season, and I mean every time Fanny came, that was literally like you said her only job. Every time that Fanny came in, boom, you're done for. Boom, you're done for. Boom, you're done for. And that's something where you're only expending one hero. You're not using your whole team, and they do get rid of it. And I think they instead of maybe locking
they banned Hylos.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm really starting to think Insomniacs might be a little behind here, man. Might be a little behind in the recently developing meta.
Did they reach the patch notes or? I'm just kidding. I don't want to get no hate mail from them.
Death threats start coming at us.
Yeah, it's gonna come down.
We don't look like idiots.
It's gonna come down to these last two picks. I want to see what they have to answer for these for this tank on the roam on the side.
I wonder who they're trying to go for jungle. They're hard CCs, right? So they're pretty much taking away these hard CCs. Could be a Fanny, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Fanny will go well against a Ling though. Especially Easy Peasy's Ling. He's really good at going in and out.
I just see him dodging Fanny all day.
Yeah, but it's not. Your Fanny isn't actually going for the Ling. He's going to be going for the other characters on the board because the same way that Ling's going to be able to dodge a Fanny, I think Fanny's going to be able to dodge a Ling as well. So, we have a Barats.
That's actually not a bad pick, just because of Ling's new cooldown. May be able to catch him. But I don't know. They would need a CC tank right here.
And the Diggy.
I do like the Diggy. And I actually like that Barats pick. It will do. I mean, Easy Peasy's gonna have a hard time trying to get through the tankiness of that Barats. I mean, I think, and I think another thing is, does the shield still block Barats' Odetta Welcome? I want to say I know there was something about Lolita's shield that it doesn't block anymore. There's a certain hero in the patch notes that it doesn't block anymore, but we'll see exactly how this goes.
It doesn't block
Grok's wall anymore. That's what it was. So he still needs to not go into that. But I do like the answers coming from Insomniacs here for those last two picks.
Yeah, my main question here is who is Ling's target? I mean, you have a Lilia who can just black boots away, Lennox who can use her light ult to get away. Barats is a bit too tanky to be getting one shot, or even if Ling does get all of his swords after the Tempest of Blades, and Diggy can ult out as well. Paquito a little strong to be going in against. So I'm actually
Paquito can CC Ling and then dash out of there. So I think they picked a lot of good heroes to try to help counter that Ling pick for sure.
Yeah, we do know one thing. We do need to keep our eyes on though. Deuce Knights with Juju on this Mia. We know Deuce Knights have been running Mia. They've been making it work, and yes, it seems like a troll, but it was good enough to the point of Team Sexy banning it against them. And Team Sexy is the undefeated team right now. They banned the Mia because they didn't want to have to deal with it. A lot of teams have been banning the Mia just to not deal with it against Deuce Knights, and they've got it in their hands. So not only do they have that, but they also have the Ling. Yes, it's going to be hard for them to make these connections, but that Mia may be a saving grace in the end game.
Oh, most definitely. Especially if she can make it there to that end game, you're going to have just, if you got a whole team that's sitting here trying to counter Ling, like you were saying before, you might have some trouble, especially when Mia comes out and can put that just immense amount of damage with her abilities and that Inspire.
Yeah, but look at Deuce Knight just grouping in this gold lane right now, Ebor.
Yeah, and they need to do that against the Lunox. So Lunox will bully Mia early, so they did that last game too. They know that Lunox would beat their gold laner early, and so they rotated up there. So they're gonna focus that a little bit.
We're seeing a little bit of pressure in the mid. Fleur keeping distance. But overall, a pretty patient game. This time, Insomniac's rotating up. A Hendrik Levzal smells the blood. He knows they're coming. He's here to help defend. I'm excited for this Diggy pick. I think one of the problems is... especially paired up with Zbarats, one of the problems can be closing that distance, and as long as Diggy can keep landing that pullback, you know, he's going to be able to help in some of these ganks, help in some of these early game picks.
Yeah, and then with that time journey, he's going to be able to counter that Luminal Blast. Oh, and was a quick death on Paquito by Ling, by Easy Peasy.
Yeah, but they are closing into this gold lane, taking some nice plating. Hate does take a little bit of damage, able to pull Hendrix back. So, I mean, yes, they do take the death, but Galaxy does go down, and this is going to be the problem against Easy Peasy on this. Wait a second, Odetta's welcome, locking it on to Hendrik Levzal. This is going to be a nice death, so they do respond with a kill of their own and even out that gold.
Yeah, evening out that gold, but it does look like Easy Peasy is going to go ahead and be able to clean up this turtle. So I'm not sure if that's going to be worth it on this. Oh, we have a pause. I'm not sure that that's going to be worth it on the side of Insomniacs here. Because they are starting to get ahead, and we saw this before. As soon as he was able to get ahead, he was able to start cleaning up. But like I said, it all depends on how this team comp, which does seem to be focused around the anti-Ling, is that going to be enough for when the other characters start hitting their power spikes, like Mia?
Hold on, we had a disconnect. We're going to be waiting just a second for this. So, I mean, if you guys had to take a guess, I mean, right now we're totally even. It looks like they are jumping back in now. So let's see how this goes. Take us away, Private.
Yeah, like I said, I'm really eager. I want to see how this is going to start unfolding. Right now, it's starting to look at you're seeing shades of the last game in there where they got that early aggression. And this is going to start unfolding to see how the mistakes, if there's going to be some mistakes made by Easy Peasy. We already saw a very clean and early kill on Paquito early here, so we're going to see how the well, and he looks like he's going up the top now.
Yeah, might get on to Merciless, and they are just picking on Merciless. They're really focusing hard on these off lanes in the early game, and that's something you want to do with this Ling, able to rotate so fast around the map and just keep pressure on those off lanes. Hendrix keeping a little difference, gets pulled back. Ashley able to come in, do some nice damage, and I kind of have to disagree. I feel like this time Deuce Knights is not shining as hard in the early game. They're not doing as well as they were last time. It seems like, and like I said, Pogi on this Barats, and then there's not really, and you mentioned there's not really much of a target for Easy Peasy. He can't really just one-shot these people in this early game, and all this is going to do is help Insomniacs. I think they want to try to take this into the mid to late game.
I don't know if they really want to go to the late game, because then you have an Esmeralda kind of skills. But yeah, they do have a lot of great counters for Ling, but they're kind of ignoring them. They've been really focusing this Maya lane, heavily.
Yeah, they are, and they're going to pick away at a Juju, doing a little bit of poke damage. Hankless is all going to get pushed back, but they just can't quite take that tower. And while this is happening, yes, Ling's poking away at Galaxy, but still not able to make any big play. Turtle will be up in 20 seconds. The question is, who takes this, Private?
Yeah, right now it's looking like it's scaling. It's going to be a scaling thing right now. Both teams not able to actually get a good engage. Oh, and Diamond actually might be in trouble.
On to Hate, but the ultimate does come in. The Tempest of Blades comes down. Can he get the finish on to Hate? Not quite able to. Yes, he does, but Easy Peasy will get taken out from Pogi. A nice 2-for-1 trade into the hands of Insomniacs.
Yeah, and there goes the answer for Ling. Even though Hatesar did die there, able to throw on that reverse time, I believe, onto Ling and pretty much secure the kill even in the afterlife.
Yeah, and that was such quick. I mean, like I said, that Ling, he is so quick. When he ults, he hits all 4 blades so quick. But he definitely got caught by Priv8 CC, and that's what actually got him dead, because he got caught by Priv8 CC stun underneath the tower, and that's how he couldn't dash out. He was trying to.
Yeah, there's no space, and he's going to have to be very careful hitting those Tempest of Blades, trying to jump into this team, because you jump in, and Priv8 is just stomping, you know, doing damage to you. You jump into this Lilia, who's also just going to be dropping those glooms all around you. He's not, and I think as long as Insomniacs can kind of not play too tight, but keep it pretty tight, he's not going to have any space to really get in there. The side of Insomniacs don't even really have a back line right now. They're just straight in your face, so there is no room for Easy Peasy to dance around here.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to the rotations of these big CCs that they have. That Numion Blast, that Falling Star Moon, and that Tempest of Blades. All these things, it's going to come down to the rotations in that and how they can space it out in between Diggy's time journey.
Oh, a nice off from Fleur, followed up by that Falling Star Moon, and in comes the Tempest of Blades. Pogi does hit that Odetta's welcome onto Hendrik Lavzol, able to get the finish, might get another one on Easy Peasy. He's trying to run away, hits that wall. Two members are down. Hate did go down in the back line, but still, Insomniacs are coming out on top of these fights as Galaxy closes the distance and takes out Darwin. They're going to move on to this tier 3 tower in the mid lane and possibly tier 2 here, Ebor.
Was the pick to go, because like you said, Ling dove on Priv8 and did nothing to him.
Nothing.
No damage. And Priv8's Insane was just damaging Lolita, and then Esmeralda came rotating down out of position, and then Priv8 was right there, damaged her down too. So yeah, that Priv8 pick is definitely going to be the reason why Insomniacs would win this match.
And I'm questioning, because both teams were kind of split up a bit there. Was it wise for Link to go ahead and try to throw that Tempest of Blades onto Priv8 rather than the rest of the team that was actually pretty far away? I mean, you lost your, was it Mia who died there?
Oh, wait a second, up in the top. Easy Peasy does take the tower and a kill. Height might be next. Merciless and Hate are both going to go down as Easy Peasy gets away unscathed. Back over on the side, though, Galaxy trying to defend, able to get a nice pick onto Jujube. So even when it feels like Deuce Knights are coming back, they're able to respond quickly and Easy Peasy in a very bad position. Under the tower, takes
the power of the Diggy.
A nice
Diggy
play.
died on Ling, and Diggy was like, alright, I told everybody else, hey, Ling's right here, out of position.
He's not going home.
He can't recall, he can't get on a wall right now. Come get him.
Another blue buff going to Insomniacs right now. You know, just stealing these buffs, playing a great game. This is, I love to see this strategy coming in from the side of Insomniacs.
Yeah, and they're just basically forcing their way here right now. If Deuce Knights want a chance to win here, I feel like they need to isolate. They need to have this Priv8, maybe even have some type of bait for him to kind of separate him from the rest of the crew, because the rest of them don't really seem like much of a match for the Ling. It's just that when you start focusing on that Priv8, you're just taking out so many abilities and ults wasted on him, while the rest of their team is actually kind of just putting damage on you.
Lane, Tempest of Blades coming down on top of Pogi, but again, no damage is dealt. This man is a human tank. Darwin trying to escape. They're going to push in right here. I don't think they're scared. Coming in to close the distance as Hate uses those glooms to zone the way. Merciless hitting that dark ult, doing some nice poke damage to the tower. Will go down. Darwin now on the run. Pogi, does he get the finish? It's going to get pulled back and finished. A nice play from Hate. Every time they think they're getting away, he's pulling them back in.
They're gonna take over for sure, and he scales very well too. Scoring a late game, he gets even tankier and even does more damage with his stomps. Right now, I think that Deuce Knight either gonna have to try to tunnel Maya and let Maya start getting her scaling again, because she's the one who will be able to do the burn down on Priv8.
Oh, Tempest of Blades going off. The umbrella is out, but he's not able to finish. Down goes Hendrix, and they're just, I mean, there was nothing that Deuce Knights can do against this right now. Easy peasy on the run. The umbrella does come out, able to connect the ultimate, but the Diggy ult just nulls it once again. And in the back line, Galaxy able to take out Jujube, just closing the distance. They're going to move back to this Lord and keep on with their push.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a free Lord for the Insomniacs here. They just, unfortunately, Deuce Knights just do not have an answer. And this answer from Insomniacs for the Ling is just, it's picture perfect right now. Not even just Ling, but for the rest of the engagements, the Numio Blast or the Falling
Falling Star Moon.
Yeah, falling star moon from the from Darwin, like with this Diggy ult. It's just it's picture perfect. He's able to use those.
Is it me, or does it feel like that they baited them to use that same comp?
You know what? You might be right.
Like, I feel like they were like, all right, we want you to use that same comp again because now we're gonna actually choose a team that you're not gonna win against. And then we'll force we're gonna go into game 3, and it's gonna Deuce Knights is gonna try to have to switch something up.
Look at Galaxy down here though. Wait 1 second. Down to the bottom, Galaxy just pushing on in the lane. Darwin doing a little bit of damage, not quite able to get the finish though. And back in the top, we have Tiggy and Galaxy just pushing in on to this tower. Fleur with a nice ultimate, does a little bit of damage, but I mean, they're just so far behind now. We're looking at a 7k gold lead, and just like last game what we saw from Insomniacs, they're just not doing any damage at all to any members of Insomniacs right now.
They're also controlling the blue buff.
Yeah, hard.
That's huge for against a Ling.
So wisely, and this is what we see a lot of teams make mistakes here too. Ling seeing that he is not going to be able to do much here, doing what he does best in these types of situations, which is just clearing lanes and getting around map, which unfortunately that's all he's pretty much left to do. And it looks like Priv8 actually might be closing in on him.
Yeah, he's in a bad spot. Yep. He needs to watch out for Gasly here. He is going to try to come in. Galaxy taking a little bit of damage. Seconds of blitz does go off, but again, no damage is dealt from Easy Peasy, and they're closing in. Darwin pulled back, and the noose connects. You're taken off the map.
And unfortunately, this is going to be the story of this match right now. I don't even know what the answer is for it. Like, you can try to get Maya farmed up, but even if you do get her farmed up, for the time it's going to take her to be able to burst down that Barats, even with like a Demon Hunter sword and full build here, is going to be enough time for the rest of the team to kind of get in there and take her out. So then you're going to be looking at the rest of the team trying to protect her, and can they do that? I don't know that they can.
Yeah, I'm surprised she actually hasn't won. She went Scarlet Phantom instead of Demon Hunter sword. They're a little bit tankier with Paquito and Barats, and she should have gotten Demon Hunter sword just to try to help focus that Barats damage and that Paquito sturdiness as well.
And the problem is like, yes, Deuce Knights does have that Mia for some late damage, but they got Merciless on this Lunox. But wait a second, Big Falling Sun was followed up by the Tempest of Blades. Finally, Ashley will go down along with Hay. Finally, Deuce Knights making a bit of a play. This is their opportunity. They need to push forward. Galaxy getting a nice knock up, caught up, forced the flicker away. In comes the Light Ultimate from Merciless to help zone them away. And Pogi on his way to send the Doom. Can he get a finish? Easy peasy, does get stopped. He's not able to connect that up. That's welcome. A nice play. They are moving around this Lord, and even though 2 members are down, they are still making a presence for themselves.
Yeah, that Barats is just a one-man army here. Even with 2 members down, able to come in here and bully his way through 5 members of Deuce Knights.
Yeah, that Barats, they had a good game plan where focusing the blue.
Oh, wait a second! Down goes Merciless, a huge play. Easy peasy, able to get the Lord. Tentacle Exaldo on the run. Galaxy connects onto Fleur. I mean, 2 for 1. Lord does go into the hands of Deuce Knights, but the thing is I got a feeling that we just see Galaxy shred down this Lord, and they take back the map easily. So I don't really know if it was worth it. Yes, they do stop the definite push coming from Insomniacs, and they buy a little bit of time, but how much do they really get from this?
And here's the thing too, is that was a picture perfect picture perfect ability. What happened there?
No, I was saying Ling was recalling in the bush right next to 3 of them and got away with it.
Yeah, Fleur with that umbrella, it was picture perfect right before the Numio blast. They executed that perfectly, but still did not have the damage output to take the team down. And that's pretty much the story of this. They're so far behind right now. And it's going to come down to super late game.
Darwin down to a little bit of low health. Pentacles all with the Numio blast. Does get knocked out though, and it just doesn't connect. Juju though, coming in, doing big burst damage. Merciless and Hay are taken out, but Merciless is there to help finish off him too. So Juju is gone, but Pogi will get taken down by Easy Peasy. We're seeing a bit of a turn here. Deuce Knights finally hitting their spike and making some nice connections here.
Just really impressive. I was so excited to see finally Barats go down.
Yeah, same thing. I was like, I thought he was not gonna go down, but yeah, that burst damage was amazing. What it did. Ling has stopped focusing on Barats. He's been focusing more on the other people and letting the rest of his team try to help out with the Barats damage.
This is, I mean, and I got to give it up to Hendrik right now, really starting to connect finally. When we, like, in the early game, he was having a little bit of trouble, but even there, able to connect. And even when he doesn't connect with that ultimate, the rest of his team is there. And you mentioned it earlier, Private. They are at least chaining these ultimates, you know, chaining the Falling Star Moon. So if Diggy uses, you know, his reverse time to stop one player, the next one comes in, you know, a few increments later and makes sure it connects Ebor.
Yeah, and that's going to be the story of this game. But as we're starting to get to the late game, to where these teams are going to start evening out, where that lead you have is starting to diminish here. Like right now, we can see that they're only about 1K ahead of the Deuce Knights here. So we might start seeing a little bit of a turnaround, especially late game Barats, if this Maya is going to be able to burst down from the back line.
I would actually say Deuce Knights has a late game just because of that Maya. The Maya has still been pushing, positioning very well, and waiting. She's timing her when she's going in. You can see like now she's not really going in, and then she's coming in.
Able to get the stun, locking in, but that reverse time does come in. But Hendrik rolls ready for new blast. Locks on, but that Odeta's welcome is able to connect. This is mayhem, easy peasy in the back line. The immortality does pop from Hate, so there is no death. But look at Galaxy in the back line, able to take out Nuju and Fleur. A nice pick, and this is where we're going to see Insomniacs push forward a little bit. Can they get the finish? Galaxy taking a bit of damage. Is he going to be able to get away? Easy peasy, shuts him down, collects the killing spree, and it's a 2-for-1 trade on the map. Odeta's welcome does connect onto Darwin's, going to blow him into that. Misses the wall. That's a bad play. The Falling Star Moon does come in, but Ashley is there to help finish. Darwin does go down. The Numenon Blast does connect, but no one is there to help. Now Insomniacs pushing back forward, easy peasy, trying to keep the distance. Hendrik was all immortality does come up, but this is going to give just enough space for Pogi to start working on this Lord, but he has to watch out for easy peasy here. Coming around this side bush, Hate has to know is there. He uses the bomb on instead. Wills, we see the steal. No, Merciless able to get it, and now they are exposed, but Juju does take out Pogi. A nice play. Hate on his own now. Gonna take a bit of damage, make it taken out here. All alone, uses that ultimate just to get a speed boost. Can he get away? No. Easy peasy will secure that mega kill. Lord coming down, and now it's looking like a reverse. Insomniacs down men with the Lord.
Yeah, 3 people down with about 30 seconds piece on all of them. They're going to be able to make short work of this Lord. And if you're going to start pushing towers, now's the time.
Yeah, exactly. And Maya actually just got Demon Hunter Sword, so she's going to do much damage. But they are focusing Mia first, though. When I try to make good, but like, oh, here she comes in for the sneak around. Instantly, once they saw her, they just turned on her and focused her, just melted her. But if they can get Mia just that spacing, Mia's gonna make a big difference coming in here in this late game.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if you make the sacrifice play with Ling, with that Tempest of Blades coming in and him diving around his swords, use that confusion to bring in the Maya to try to do damage while they're focused on trying to take easy peasy down. I'm wondering if that might be an answer for this.
Yeah, especially because Ling even has an immortality, so he can sacrifice a dive in.
I mean, let's set the map real fast. So we're at 18 minutes. Deuce Knights has to get this win to go to the playoffs here. I mean, if they get this win, they go to the playoffs here. This is huge for them. They want this so bad, and you can see it in their gameplay. Pogi getting a little caught off here. Tempest of Blades does come out. Hate trying to back him up, and in comes Jaslyn and Galaxy. Pogi will go down. Juju in the back line, just shredding through. Will get taken out, though. Tentacles, all the 3 members are down. Merciless on the run. Easy peasy, closing that distance. He's going to get the finish. This could be the sweep. This may be the game. Hate will get taken out here. Deuce Knights may just be going to the playoffs, boys.
Yeah, there's 30 seconds right now for the res timers. Can they push into this mid? Just awesome map awareness by the side of Deuce Knights to go up there and find that Barats, trying to teleport home, made short work of him, and after that they were able to close out on the rest of the team.
This is it. Deuce
Knights definitely able to get it. They have the minions.
They have the minions. Look at Hendrix with the Numenon Blast. They are hyped. They are ready.
Wow.
The playoffs.
Wow. Deuce Knight with the sweep. Oh man.
Oh man, that was just such a great last engagement by them. I was so impressed with that.
That is epic, yo. That I mean, those are the moments, you know, last day of the season, those are the things that we get hype about. And Deuce Knights secure the only thing they could do to make it to the playoffs. And now, you know, I'm excited to see them in the playoffs after seeing their gameplay tonight.
Yeah, that was very impressive. That's, you know, they, against all odds, I would say, you know, they definitely didn't have like the advantage early game in this match, but how they just was able to just turn it around in their favor. And the way how they even went with Ling, when he was getting his blue buff, he was getting underfarmed, and it went exactly like what Priv8 said, that he just did what Ling does best in certain scenarios. He just started split pushing, getting his things up, started focusing more on their squishy heroes, which was like the Lilia, the Diggy, and the Lunox, rather than focusing on like the Barats and stuff, and just having Kagura and the other and Esmeralda focus more on the tankier heroes, because they can survive. Well, Kagura can do more of a burst, but Esmeralda can be in the fight longer and make that more of a longer game for them, a longer fight between them.
And I feel like it does have something to do with a little bit of the complacency there. Barat's kind of out on his own there, clearing lane, kind of maybe underestimating the speed of which Easy Peasy and the rest of the team was able to get up there with Deuce Knights, that they all collided on him so quickly, and then from there on it was pretty much these guys on the back foot. It was just masterful. It's something to say about the games that you think you have the lead on and getting complacent with it, even for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you have to, I think towards the end there, we started to see Insomniacs also kind of break up a little bit. They weren't running that, you know, that oob strat. They weren't running that tight strategy, and Barat's getting caught off. Several members getting caught off there, and I think they probably could have played it a little more aggressive. There was a moment where they were just really smashing when that Esmeralda got pulled back in, and they decided to go for the Lord instead, or kind of rotate back up. I think they should have just really pushed in and taken as many inhibitors as possible early on. So, but that is it. Deuce Knights will be going to the playoffs. That is huge. I mean, what a game. But next up, we also have a very big game. Let's get back to this caster's desk, because up next we have TSU versus Team Sexy.
Nice. And what a great start for this night, where we had the first match, we were like, oh, these probably might make the playoffs, because Deuce Knights, there's no way they're going to sweep the Insomniacs, right? And then Deuce Knights comes and sweeps the Insomniacs. And so we had two really good first matches, and then now we're going to have a TSU against Team Sexy, which is going to be a phenomenal match.
Yeah, two very skilled teams. We've seen TSU with that early aggression and just keep on from that point on forward, and that against the micro and macro of Team Sexy, and just the skill level that they have. I'm really excited for this match, because it's two top tier teams going head to head. Not that the rest of these matches, these matches have been surprisingly close from what I originally thought when I looked at the lineup here for the Valley versus the Simpsons. Insomniacs losing to Team DK here, and will we see an upset, or maybe even possibly the first loss for Team Sexy?
Yeah, I'm still just in awe completely. So Team Sexy, TSU. I love Team Sexy. I'm a Shark fan. He was the champion. BTK was the champion of the very first game or the very first North American Community Tournament I ever casted on. You know, I think he's a monster. But at the same time, I am very against seeing a team go undefeated through a whole season. So I'm hoping, I normally don't pick sides. I'm the most unbiased caster you'll ever meet, I swear. But I want to see TSU bring the smoke this game.
It's a very strong team. They've played a lot of the top players. They like all the other top teams in North America know who TSU is. They're a very good team, and I'm just excited for this match, because it's going to be very interesting to see what Team Sexy is going to bring to the table to help against TSU.
Yeah, but this is, like I said, this is Team Sexy. You do have the cohesion, the experience between all between all of those members who have played together for a very long time. Not only that, but the skill level that they have, and the fluidity of how they move through the map, how they get to, how they move from kill to objective very easily. So it's a very tall mountain for TSU, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen now.
Not only that, but we have to point out the fact, like the reality of the situation. TSU has not been on their A game. And yes, they've been trying a lot of new things, and it's been working. They've been running with this kind of double tank meta, and they've been kind of, adapting to the current patchworks and stuff, and they've been bringing out a lot of different comps than what we normally see. So if they're going to do it again tonight, they need to be on their A game. They're not up against some half-rate team here, some bottom of the leaderboard team. They're going up against the top team in the whole season, the undefeated team. This will be a huge test to see if they can even play against this team in the playoffs and possibly take a win there.
Each other, right, in this season?
I'm sorry?
Is this the first time they're playing against each other this season?
This is the first time they're playing against each other this season.
Wow.
So this is,
the very last match of the season is TSU against Team Sexy. Wow. Just because I don't even look at the chat, but yeah, they know each other, but they're just like talking crap back towards each other.
I'm pretty sure there's beef between these teams. I know TSU's got some beef with at least like maybe friendly beef, but I know like there's been some stuff between Zane and TSU, and I know they're not super friendly here. They're ready to go. They're ready to play.
And I'm ready to see. I love top tier matches, especially I want to see how the meta has flexed. We did see some kind of like messing around from both teams, I want to say, on Thursday. I'm not sure if it was messing around or maybe adjustments on the side of TSU trying to get adjusted. It was like the second day after the patch, so maybe there was still some new hero, new item woes that they were going through. But on the side of Team Sexy and Sharky, and there was definitely some messing around there. So are we gonna see them at 100% and focused, or is there still going to be a little bit of kind of a lackadaisical approach to this match?
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting, because I wonder this first match if they're gonna throw in like these like off meta picks, just to have some fun in the first match, or are they just gonna go right at each other's throats and get like their meta heroes that they're gonna go after? I really don't know how this first match is really gonna go between these two teams.
I mean, it could. We know that Team Sexy likes to have fun in their games. We know that for sure. We know they like to do some. They also like to bring some different comps. It has worked against them sometimes, but most of the time, it's caught a lot of teams off guard. I think TSU wants. I think like if I'm in the heads of TSU, I want to try to put a little bit of fear into Team Sexy. Like, I want to try to take a win here so that when you see us in the playoffs, you know that, you're kind of in their heads a little bit. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for Team Sexy right now going into the playoffs is a lot of teams that's their worry. Every team is worried about Team Sexy right now. Every team is like, man, they're going to be a hard team to face in the playoffs. I don't know if we can beat them. So if TSU can pull off a win here, it kind of gives them some even standing with them when they meet, when it comes to the more of the mental game.
Well, and that's something we discussed a little bit last Thursday when Team Sexy was going off against the Simpsons. The Simpsons were banning that Fanny. They were banning those picks, those off-brand picks from Team Sexy, and it kind of like opened up Team Sexy to play their game where they had these off-the-wall bans that they could do whatever they wanted, basically, the comps that they wanted, the comfort picks that they wanted. So are we going to see that from TSU? Are they going to be banning that Fanny? Are they going to be playing in the hands of Team Sexy, or are they going to be playing their own game and closing up the gaps in their comp, their comp, and kind of having their way with their own picks and bans?
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't think you want to fall into that Fanny ban against Shark I know we were talking about it last week. Like, you don't like, stop letting some crazy games that he pulled trick you into banning and just leaving other things open. There have been teams who have beat it because they hard countered it, and we know it does fall off. If it doesn't catch you off guard, it can be dealt with. And I think TSU is ready to bring their own game to this. They've always been known. But again, I've literally said this about TSU a week or two ago when they played against Area 77 and they completely flopped. So TSU's very iffy for me this season. They did great in season 1. They won the North American Community Tournament. But this season, for season 2 of the NASL, they've just kind of been all over the place.
Yeah, I think they were kind of caught off guard on a couple of their matches. I think their drafts were a little bit iffy on those matches that they were getting dominated on. But, you know, when it comes to a team like this against Team Sexy, I don't think they're gonna mess around. I don't think they're gonna mess around with some of the picks, or with some of the bans. I think they're gonna come here with a good comp, or they may just get steamrolled by Team Sexy like every other team has. So they can go either way, really.
The match will start in, we're just waiting for the last player of Team Sexy to jump in. They have 3 minutes on the board left to get their last player in, and yeah. And then we'll be jumping in, so make sure you stay tuned. It's a great time to grab some water, do whatever you need to do. Ask us any questions you want, and then we'll be starting in just a second. I'm ready for this game, guys. I'm definitely a great finish to the season, a wonderful finish to the season.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I definitely want to see, and that's it. And that's if they're both going to be going serious. I don't think there is a option here where this is not going to be an entertaining match. Either they both go 110% at each other and we're going to see a very skillful macro and micro intensive game, or they're both secure in their positions and just going to be messing around with a bunch of different heroes in this meta, which I don't mind seeing either. Like, even the Johnson on Thursday from Sharky was probably one of the most entertaining matches that I saw that night.
Yeah. One thing I can say for sure is Team Sexy is always fun to watch. Always fun to watch.
They'll come over and they'll do a pick and you're just like, I don't know. And then it absolutely works. You're like, how?
Yeah. These guys are the bane of my existence in ranked and solo queue. People will watch this match and now we're going to see a whole bunch of Johnsons or Fanny tanks in ranked play.
Belleric tank, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's definitely, bro. I mean, definitely some of most of the most exciting games that we've seen have been from Shark picking some very different picks. I mean, those Fanny plays were just insanity. So Shark is in a game right now. So I'm pretty sure TSU is cool with waiting. We're just gonna wait for him to get out of his game so we can get going.
He was just in chat. Shame on Shark.
Shark was in chat? No.
He was in YouTube chat.
Oh, I know, right? I didn't even think about that. Shark was in the YouTube chat, and now he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna go play a game real quick." we're first place.
He honestly thought that they were gonna go to like game 3 with the Deuce Knights matchup.
I think a lot of people did. I think
that's why he thought he had time, because technically they are early. It's 10:30, right? Or 10:25.
Yeah, we're a little behind schedule. We're definitely a little behind schedule.
Early behind, same thing.
To those that don't, alright, so just to let everybody know, I heard some questions earlier about when the playoffs are. Right now, we are scheduled for this Thursday and the 3rd. So the 31st and the 3rd is when playoffs should happen. Again, if you have any questions ever about anything, the Discord is where you're going to find the quickest information and the most information about anything that happens with this league. So feel free to join it. It is in the description of this stream. So we have a growing community with like 1,400 members. Ebor is the head admin, so feel free to bother the hell out of him whenever you want. And it looks like we are ready to go, guys. Are you ready for this game?
Woo! I am ready.
Me too. I'm really ready. I'm really ready.
Sexy. They changed their names, so it's Shark Haji.
Yes.
And Show is.
All right, so just to let you guys know, Team Sexy are a bunch of kids, and they all changed their name. So listen, when playoffs come, every team will be forced to go back to the name that they originally joined with. Bahaji is Shark right now. Oh My Venus is Nicolette, and Show is Zia.
Zia, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so Show Zia. All right, I'll have to try to call them by their actual names.
Dude, I'm gonna try so hard. I'm gonna fail.
We lost our
And
potato.
please, somebody
There
pick
he
Clint
is.
and not Claude.
Sorry. I'm trying to scribble down their names. I think I'm just gonna go with what I see because
He's got
I'm gonna
post-it
get.
notes around his monitor. And, like has like this is this person. This is
Looks
this
like
person.
Team Sexy also want to get rid of that. Also want to get rid of that Masha, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely going to be a #1 ban now.
Yeah, especially when you're going to be forced to kind of adjust your entire team, your entire gameplay around it. Like it's just a smart ban.
Yeah.
All right, I'm excited for this. I'm wondering. I mean, the Wanwan's got to go. It's a good band already, and we've already seen Ziaz prove that he keeps it up in this game. Oh, and Anti-Mage is bossy. Yes. Oh,
Okay, that's
Anti-Mage.
best player is the only one
bossy.
that's
Best-
like,
yeah, he's
nope, I'm not changing my name.
He's the only one that's not a child over there. I love all those guys to death. And I've talked to all of them in VC and stuff before. I don't think I've ever talked to Shark in a VC, but I've chatted with all of them, and they're all great guys and girls and stuff. But definitely a bunch of jokesters.
Your team is banning.
And we do see that solid Grok and Valentina ban. As we've just been stressing it out before, like Valentina's just still so strong. I don't even know what do you do to kind of like bring her down to a level where she's not as OP right now. And unfortunately, I just don't know how. Just because of the flexibility that she can put on with that ult, with being able to steal everybody else's ult.
Yeah, and I think she's always going to be a ban in any pro series just because of that ult is just such a game changer. And there's really not much counter. Your only counter is to pick heroes that she can't hurt, that the ult that she steals doesn't really help her. Mostly physical people, not so much magic people. But yeah, it's just until they do some type of revamp for Valentina, there's no way she's going to be playing in the pro league.
And we do see an Esmeralda ban now, just such a strong first pick, usually for the XP lane. So I'm actually curious of what we're going to see there in that XP lane. Maybe one of the tankier heroes that just got a revamp or an adjustment, or will we just go
Beleric.
I mean, it's definitely a possibility, and I think picking that kind of does limit some things. I'm excited to see what Shark picks. You know what they pick
Eve.
with this newer.
Eve is wide open right now.
Yeah, Nicolette's definitely gonna lock that in. We know how much of a monster she can be with it. I'm surprised TSU gave that up.
Yeah,
They might have an answer for it.
Yeah, they bring in.
It's not Beatrix, but they might have an answer for it.
One thing I can say though about this Beatrix pick from TSU is they're flexible with that Beatrix pick. So this isn't a definite gold laner here. TSU knows that they're not showing too much of their hands with this pick. Maybe Team Sexy doesn't, but we've seen them run the Beatrix as a support in the mid lane. We've seen them also put it in the gold lane. So they are still pretty open to a lot of their choices over the map.
Is picking.
Yeah, and they did answer that Eve with the Yuzong, but are we gonna have, like I said, this has been the problem when I've seen this Yuzong pick. He does get bullied in the lane. He does have his lane crashing into his tower at those very prime team fights, and then he's just not in position. Will TSU be able to make sure that Yuzong is always prepared and always there for these fights?
Yeah, and so I really do like this Glue pick. Glue's definitely going to experience lane, but I don't know how I really feel about against a Yuzong, because Yuzong can really benefit against his ult to get a lot of health back from it. Unless they're going to do Glue roam. Glue can kind of be really good on both.
He's going to be EXP lane, I think, for sure. We've seen, I mean, Lord Bossy has ran it. Maybe he'll be roam. Possibly, very, very possibly. But hold on, Mamiel with. So Japanese definitely going into the gold lane because Mamiel bringing in that signature support Bane here, which I like it against the Roger. I even like it possibly. I'm wondering, does that deadly catch ultimate take Eve out of the real world manipulation?
It is a little slow, and it depends on how close and how far back he is going to be getting. I'm not sure it's going to be an exact counter for real world manipulation, because to get there, if he's on the other side of the map at the edge of real world manipulation, it's going to take a while for that ult to actually get to Eve. And if he's closer to Eve, yeah, if you're close to Eve, Bane is not the tankiest hero in the world, and he can be taken out quite quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unless he's not being support.
Yeah. Oh no, Mommy, it's definitely a support. TSU is like, this is like one of their signature picks that I loved in the early season. They stopped using it around the mid-season, and I'm glad they're bringing it back. It catches so many teams off guard, and it's just, I just think it's kind of off and on, but I think it's a strong pick, especially against this Roger.
Now, I'm trying to think with the ban here. So with Zia is probably going. Who do you think Zia is going to pick here?
I mean, the Beatrix is gone. The Wan's gone. Clint's gone. There's definitely not a lot for him. I mean, maybe we see a Claude in the gold lane. It has kind of spiked in popularity. So he's definitely a little limited here, and maybe that's TSU's plan here. Really target down on Zia, and it looks like that's
they definitely didn't want to give him Wan for sure. They've seen it. Brody definitely opened him. But yeah, they definitely didn't want to give Zia Wan after what they've seen him doing this whole season with Wan. Every time Wan went in his hands.
Yeah, and it does appear like they're pretty flexible right now. They do have some early and late, so they are quite flexible with what they can pick, either the early or late game marksmen for that side. And we do get a Matilda on the side of TSU for Tamal here.
That's the help against the Eve with the dash, and also her ult can also focus Eve if they need to. But I don't know. Yeah. I haven't seen Matilda roam come a lot more lately, but it just has to be a comp it has to be a burst damage team.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that is a smart pick if you are considering the Eve, because she can lock onto her instantly, and like that is a straight shot. There's nothing that's going to be able to stop Matilda from closing the distance with that ult. I forgot what it's called, Soaring Eagle ult onto Eve. So even if Yu Zong isn't there, you do have another answer in the name of this Matilda here.
Yeah.
Harris.
Shark, though.
Harris
gold lane here. Now, something that they're going to need to watch out for. TSU is known. I mean, literally almost every game in the past few weeks that we've watched from them, they're known to give up the turtle, focus hard on the gold lane, and try to take that gold tower within the first 2 to 3 minutes of the game. And they've achieved that against almost every team they've gone against. So I'm wondering if Team Sexy is ready for that. Maybe they prep for it. Maybe they don't care and they give it to them, but they need to definitely be careful. And I'm wondering if Harith's gonna have a little trouble, I think, sustaining against a hard 3 or 4 man push like that.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because I've tried Harith in the gold lane too, and I've seen it meta. It's been used in MPL as well. They do abuse that up there. His early game he's item dependent, so I'm not sure how well he's going to be able to perform during these ganks. If TSU does, like you said, go with that early engage onto that gold lane and ignoring the turtle completely.
Especially if the blue buff is going to go to Roger. So I mean, his dashes are not going to be as fast because he's a gold lane Harith. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. But he is very mobile, so he can get out of a lot of good situations.
Yo, that Bane skin looks kind of cool, though. They finally gave him a good skin. No, I'm just kidding. But, so, I mean, if you had to give someone an early game, late game, what do you think, Ebor?
Late game definitely is going to TSU, for sure. With the Karina and the Beatrix and the Bane and the Yuzon, they all scale very good mid-late game. And actually, the early game... I don't even see any of them got early game tip for like a blue can definitely do some pretty good damage early game.
Well, Roger is pretty decent early game, I think. Is like if he can capture those kills. But we did see in an earlier series that when you shut down Roger, when you do close ranks around those people that he is ganking, that starving Roger is pretty much going to be having a lot of trouble.
Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, they have a Karina. So Karina is actually very well in the early game. Does her passive that makes her do a lot of good damage in the early game.
And should do well against the Roger also. They are able to stop Shark from delaying that blue buff at all. They're ready. They knew that was coming. They're like, listen, we're not one of these.
Everybody does.
don't try us with that, Shark. You better play against us for real this game because we're trying to bring the smoke. And we're already seeing a bit of an engage. Nikto decides not to connect to that Litho. Close hook there. Keeps the distance though. But I think we may not see too much of early aggression in this game.
Yeah, it does look like I'm wondering, it's going to come down to these first rotations. As soon as they clear out their jungle and are going to be heading for these lanes, what they're going to do. Are they going to be more passive? Are they going to respect the damage and skill of each team? Or are they just going to go and do what they usually do, which is go ahead
it's right on cue.
I told you.
Yeah, it does look like TSU is preparing for that gank up at the top onto Zia. I think Mamil might have showed himself a bit.
Yeah, I think because they had a one minion, but Zia bursted down that minion quick, so they couldn't do a tower dive.
Yeah.
And they were ready for that though, and this is, I think,
they
knew that was coming, but they are keeping the pressure on. And this is, I don't think TSU wants to give that up. But still, they're a lot more paired than other teams have been. It's worked so many times for TSU, and I like the fact that Team Sexy was ready for that immediately.
Yeah, and able to back up here, and it looks like we might have a small engagement here at the front, or are they just going to go ahead and looks like they're just going to go ahead and clear out a couple of missed hooks. It looks like they're all trying to keep their distance from this from Sharky here, and then we're going to go ahead and pick up the second blue buff while Turtle is up. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and give up that Turtle.
Yeah, but look at Team Sexy now focusing themselves on the gold lane. Show taking the damage. Real manipulation does come up. Oh, a nice flicker, but it's still taken out from Zia. First blood going to the side of Team Sexy. TSU does collect the Turtle, and it keeps the gold lane about even so far.
Yeah, that's also interesting. It's almost like Team Sexy was like, all right, we know you like to gank the gold lane, so we're actually going to gank the gold lane. We'll give you the Turtle.
Yeah, which is interesting. I was wondering okay, we got Mamil coming in here, but best player able to escape quickly, and that's interesting to me that they wouldn't be prepared for that gold engage too, because you saw that Japanese was pretty far out at that time, and with all the times that they've done this to other teams, you would expect him to be ready for that himself.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think both teams just... TSU, I think, got a little cut off by that. I do like the fact that they knew it failed, and all right, fine, let's just go for Turtle. So they at least get something out of that. Tamal, though, brings some gap onto Zia. Japanese does a bit of damage, but at this point, Japanese is a death behind as Zia scales once again in the early game, per usual, with Team Sexy here, Ebor.
And going into this other early game where the gold towers are up, doesn't look like they're going to be putting pressure on any of the towers, so they're just going to try to, looks like everybody's just trying to farm right now. They're trying to find these picks. I love Shark as a tank, but he's 0 for 4 on hooks right now.
That's true.
But when he does get a hook, though, I'm pretty sure that's when the tide's going to start turning, because once he starts actually grabbing these hooks, you will see Team Sexy just dominate on whoever he hooks into.
Yeah, and I think that's, I mean, if he can land, finally a nice split.
There it is.
Mamil does get the press, and Mamil gets taken down immediately. Nikto, though, closes the distance, brings best player down to about health, but knows he needs to retreat, and with this, Team Sexy may start taking a bit of a lead here.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed. The Shark just had needed an opportunity to get a hook, and once he does, and you saw exactly like I said, once he got the hook, the rest of the team just jumped on whoever he hooked.
Yeah, I was going to say, and even Tamal not able to actually save him, was able to...
another on Tamal is able to get away. Ziggy does connect with a Petrified. Nikto trying to close distance onto Anti-Mage. Lord Bossy may just go down here, is able to get away with a flicker of health. They want to push it though. Tamal with the Soaring Eagle on the best player. Mamio closing in 2, hits that deadly catch, but it still is not enough because Shark is there to suppress, and best player zoning off, hits that dog form, able to come back, has to retreat. I mean, TSU a little behind, but keeping up in the fight right now.
It did look like Nikto hesitated a bit. He looked like he was going in and couldn't decide on the target he wanted. There were actually plenty of players pretty low for him to go in with that Karina, but just didn't make it happen. And I'm actually quite sad about that because it looked like he could have cleaned house, but he kind of split up his attention.
I think he focused on Roger or was full health when there was I can't remember who. I think it was an Eve or somebody who was like pretty low health. Right now.
Nikto does get the kill on the Shark. But Nikto made this go down here, is taken out. Best player cleaning house right now. Eve also getting a kill for herself. Nicolette playing a great game with those real manipulations. And every time it feels like TSU takes an advantage, Team Sexy strikes back.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's just not enough going on the side of TSU to kind of counter this aggression too. Even when Tamal was in position to try to save some of his team, the CC was just too much for them to actually use that guiding wind to try to get away.
And the top, they are doing a bit of damage. Nice shot on the show. The problem is Zia's going to be able to get away. Mamiel with the deadly catch. Almost gets killed on the Haji. Can Japanese close the distance? No, but Mamiel still on the chase. Hits that second skill for the speed up. They are going to take this tower. So finally a response from TSU. I'm not crazy about Tamal on this Matilda, man. Ebor.
Yeah, not really. Go ahead.
Ebor?
No, I was really saying chat because it was funny because I mentioned that thing about Shark missing like 0-4 hooks and then
he
hit.
immediately comes back and hits
he already hit like 4 hooks in a row so far.
He had to prove you wrong. Another one. Suppression comes in. Is he going to be able to get away? Tamal caught in the real manipulation, forced with the flicker, but Lord Bossy is on the trail, uses that Flying Eagle, but taken out from best player, sitting at 3-0 right now, feeling like a monster. Ziggy just trying to zone away, keep them at a distance, doesn't want to fully engage, buy Nikto a little bit of time, but while this is happening, Japanese in the top lane doing some nice damage onto that tier 2 tower, Ebor.
Yeah, I don't know what TSU can do to like turn this around. I mean, I know that even though they're losing 7-1, they're not losing a gold lead that much. It's still a pretty close match. I think they just need to exactly what you said. They get aggressive in these fights, but then it seems like they just lose it. They look like they have the upper hand in the fight, and then it just turns around in Team Sexy's favor in like an instant.
I feel like there's an issue with the target calling, or if somebody is actually asking or pointing out who they want to focus, because I feel like they're kind of getting spread. If they all come in and they are all focusing the same target, I feel like they can get some kills pretty quickly. But what's going on here is we got a lot of people attacking different characters, and even like I pointed out before, where Nikto was kind of confused about who he actually wanted to go for.
Tamal gets caught off once again. Real manipulation does come out. Mami will hit some nice burst damage on the Shark, but not quite enough. Nikto now in a bad spot, trying to get away, but best player does not want to let him with the kill. Now zoning in on the Japanese, but doesn't want to overextend. Mamiel does have the sustainability to escape that team fight, but Team Sexy just scaling more and more ahead of TSU right now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're starting to hit a point where Harith, where Zia is starting to get fed onto that Harith, getting those items that's going to help him chase him and Roger, along with that Eve, able to chase and then close them down with that real-world manipulation to pretty much close off the rest of the map while they are chasing.
Yeah, it's working out very great for them too, because the combo of world manipulation from Eve and then Harris ult, so they're really slow. If you saw when when I forgot who it was that got picked up, they were trying to run away, but they just couldn't.
Mamiel caught off again from Lord Bossy, and like you just said, there's just so much bringing them back into that real manipulation. You got Lord Bossy slowing them down, jumping on top of them, just so little play, and I love the fact that they are just pushing the aggression. They know they have the advantage. They're going to keep coming in. Best player on the trail of Nikto, doing a little bit of damage, poking back, but he just wants to take this blue buff. Will they contest it? An ice hook on to Ziggy. The suppression comes in. Nicolette causing some more damage as Lord Bossy jumps around the back line. Ziggy trying to stop him. Nikto will go down to best player. Now he's on the hunt. Connects, lands it. Mamiel hooked in. Another big finish. 4 members taking out Mamiel all alone as the side of Team Sexy is going to take this tier 3 tower private.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem with how dominant that TSU has been in the past and aggressive they have. It seems like the problem is on their back foot. They just don't seem to know what to do here to be able to offset this aggression by Team Sexy. It's because that, and honestly, it comes to experience too, because they have not been in this position very often in this league where they're on their back foot.
I mean, they still do have some late game potential here. I really just, I can't, I'm going to express it again. I just feel like that Matilda pick was not the pick. Yes, it gets you out of that real manipulation, but at this point, like, she can be CC'd out of it. There could have been other tank picks that would have been a bit bulkier, a bit more better at zoning, be able to make sets a bit cleaner. And with Shark on this tank, they're not playing to dive you, you know? You're not going to be able to make picks on them because they're trying to pull you in to what they have ready for you.
Yeah, and Team Sexy is definitely controlling this whole match right now. They're controlling the rotation, they're controlling the jungles, the buffs. It's going to be really hard to TSU to get out of this match.
Yeah, and unfortunately, and we did see the defensive items too. Anti-Cuirassas coming out along with a brute force breastplate, so we're going to be not going to be much of an effect that Japanese is going to be able to do here until late game. So
yeah, Anti-Cuirass is just such a broken item right now, especially against all the marksmen that are popular in the meta. Just definitely something of a powerhouse, and it's going to, I mean, Japanese is already 0-2, let alone all those Anti-Cuirasses coming in. She's going to be useless for a while. I mean, the only chance TSU has is a very, very, very late game. Look at the bait. They're waiting for it. Zia does use that ultimate to bring in Lord Bossy into the back line. The Deadly Catch will come out to help keep some distance, and Ziggy pushes forward. Nikto on the chase. Aji taking a little bit of damage here, but they want to re-engage. Best player now on the trail, and all of their skills have been blown. Ziggy trying to do something here. Can he get the knock up? A nice Petrify to stop Nicolette's real manipulation, but he will pay the price for that. And now Zia's ultimate is back up. Best player maybe a little too deep as Tamal tries to zone them. A big hook on Amamiel, but the sustain is enough to keep them alive. But the inhibitors will go down as Team Sexy continues this press. This may just be the game coming soon.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you could see that bait coming from a mile away. They went in from past the tower, then came back over to where best player was. It was just a bait, and it kind of looked like TSU kind of fell for it when they saw a small opening there that they were going to try to light down on it.
Absolutely, it was a beautiful bait, and then once they got into that little corridor and he put down the I forgot what it's called, her skill 2 to slow it down, they all turned around instantly and jumped on them.
I mean, at this point, we're looking at 16-2. There's definitely a very small hope, and there's even less of a hope because the thing, like I said, you know, tanks they're not in a position of a composition to overextend. You know, they don't have a competition that dives in, so they're just going to keep using Nicolette's ultimate to zone away these inhibitors, pick away slowly, take their time. And I love the fact that Team Sexy isn't getting too aggressive. They want to clean this cleanly, and that's what they're doing. They have 18 seconds for Lord. They are pushing in though. Ziggy tries to get the Petrify onto Zia, not quite able to connect, but they are going to take this inhibitor now. Best player moving in. The ultimate is laid down. Shark bringing out some more hooks, not quite able to connect. Waiting for another one. Mamiel may go down here, take some big burst damage, and Zia gets the kill. Nikto trying to get to that back line, but a double kill falls into the hands of Zia. Nikto now caught up from Lord Bossy, will get picked off. That's a 3-for-1 trade. Shark is out. Tamal maybe Nexo on the chopping block as Real Manipulation comes up and makes just enough space to take that Nexus.
Yeah, just a dominating performance by Team Sexy. TSU. I'm not sure if that was a comp issue with them, or just more that aggression that came from Team Sexy that they're just not experienced with enough to be dealing with.
The Matilda was a bad pick. I'm gonna say it once.
I thought the draft wasn't that bad. I think you're right about the Matilda pick. But I think it really just came down to that Team Sexy just came out with their aggression from the beginning, and they had better rotations and
they
one
can't
start-
let Nicolette have Eve.
yeah, that too, or any other mage. Just ban all the mages.
Well, and that's the thing too. Is there was all these on paper. There was all these counters for the Eve, but they were never in a position. I think I saw Eve get knocked out of her ult maybe twice that entire match. So like it just didn't seem. Well, it's not even that. It's just that they were never in a position to do that, because even if they were squishy, she would have got knocked out of it, and then they would have immediately gotten killed. But I didn't even see that. She looked like she was just having free range on most of them for 90% of the game.
Yeah, not only that, and then they couldn't really have an answer for the Harif. That Harif was just dancing all over the place. They really didn't have a hard CC for Harif, and so the Harif had full range whenever he started scaling with his items and stuff.
So we are going to jump into game 2 now, though. Let's get back to this caster's desk. So Team Sexy sitting at 1-0 completely dominates them. I mean, final scoreboard 19-4, game finished in 14 minutes. Looked like they were playing against any other team, and this is what I meant. TSU just hasn't seemed to be on their A game lately. Normally I would think they would at least bring a challenge to Team Sexy. Some other teams have brought a challenge. Again, Team Sexy did bring a strong composition there and don't seem to be trolling completely. So let's see what happens with game 2. Like, since we are behind schedule, we're not going to talk too much. Let's just jump right into these drafts. TSU will have first pick, first ban. Ibor, what do you think they do differently this time?
Your team is banning.
Ban Eve right off the bat. Well, they're gonna ban Masha, but I'm pretty sure they were gonna ban Eve, or at least since they have first pick, to try to get Eve. So like we said, when we do the first pick, first ban, they're not want to ban the people that they're scared of. They're gonna try to get it first. So they will try to ban somebody and let Team Sexy do the hard counter bans, the OP hero bans.
Yeah, and then also they're going to need to, I think they're going to have to tighten up on their gameplay a little here. We did see, like I said earlier, that Beatrix did get caught out from like a move that TSU has pulled on basically every other team in this league, where they ignore the turtle and they go straight for the gold lane. And not only was we're not talking about like 2 behind the tower, 2 in front. We're talking about Beatrix being pushed so far in front of that tower that she was pretty much easy pickings. So they're going to need to tighten up on that a bit, maybe work a little bit on the communication, especially from like we saw with Karina, kind of like dancing in between heroes. She didn't really know who she wanted to go for. So and maybe just basically tighten up on what they're doing out on the map, that macro.
Yeah, and especially with Shark in the beginning, wasn't really playing Franco very well, but man, did he turn it around. He was hitting them hooks like with ease, and was definitely, even though it was mostly Matilda, because Matilda was trying to force the zone, but which just put her out of position and was just getting hooked.
Which I was made for.
So one thing TSU didn't ban Fanny last time, right? They didn't ban Fanny game. Oh, did they ban? Maybe they banned the Fanny.
They did ban her. It was their last ban, I believe.
Okay, so they did ban it, so I guess yes. The Eve will be taken out from the side. So this time I guess TSU doesn't want to ban the Eve because they want it. So Team Sexy, though, knows how dominating Eve can be in all of these games. They're going to take it off the map. I do like the glue ban coming in. So we are going to see some different compositions this time. And with this, will TSU be able to, get up, wipe the dust off, and maybe take a win there? The Masha coming out. I'm wondering, is the Esmeralda going to get locked in immediately?
Easily. Ooh.
Franco.
I don't know about that.
What?
Yeah, I'm not sure. And with the Yuzong ban on here, I was wondering if they were looking for a backline mage like a Sicilian or a Farja, that they were kind of worried that Yuzong would probably be able to dive into. And you do see that first pick Esmeralda come out on the side of Team Sexy. Such a strong XP laner. And I don't know about this Franco first pick.
Yeah, what? Why?
What's like what right now?
That's like there's no reason for that. It doesn't like Franco. I just feel like Franco is always a counter pick, always a reason for a Franco. He's never. He's not a prio pick in any way at all. I don't care what anyone says. He's definitely not a prio pick over Esmeralda or any other hero you can think of that are prio picks. And they just not only that, but with that you give Esmeralda to Lord Botsy, who we know is a monster on her.
I wonder if they picked Franco because they didn't want to Shark to get Franco again.
Wait for no one. Your team
That comes into. Yeah, I mean that's a kind of a reach for me too. Is like I as good as he is, it's like Shark being great on Layla. Do you ban Layla because of that? I don't really.
Yes, yes, you do.
But I mean, if you're gonna do that, why not just ban straight tanks? Like, I don't think it's a target for Shark. Because like, if you're gonna target Shark, you target Shark. You ban Franco, you ban Grok, you ban Fanny. You know, you ban the Annihilator, you ban every tank you can think of.
banning.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we do see that Zia is able to pick up this Wanwan. Even before the buff, Zia has just been a monster on Wanwan, and now that you only need 3 weakness stacks on her, it's I think.
Yeah, this might be GG's honestly, because Zia was already amazing on Wanwan, and now that Wanwan's, in my opinion, broken, you know, we might see Zia just go off.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about earlier, is when you start getting into the heads of your opponents, when you start doing great on these off the wall, not even off the wall heroes, on these other heroes, because these are like we do have Bossy on this Esmeralda and Zia on this Wanwan. Like, we just gave them 2 of their comfort picks, and especially with the history in this league with how well they've done with those.
Yeah, and I mean, and like, the problem is everyone, you get beat by Team Sexy, and I think you kind of just get scattered because they beat you so well, you know, and it just throws you off, and there's just like, what is the answer currently, you know? And I'm just wondering if these teams have, like, I haven't really seen a team come with a game strategy to compete against them. There have been some teams that have gotten some wins, like I said, but you know, TSU just came with a pretty basic comp that they did last time. They did pretty much the same rotations they always do. I'm wondering if anyone's really done some analysis of Team Sexy over this season and is like thinking up of a strategy to specifically beat them.
My pleasure.
Well, I think you hit the mark on there too, because there's taking losses from a team and being able to review it, but when you lose on so many levels and dimensions that the way that Team Sexy is able to do to most teams, it's kind of hard to take a moment and be like, this is why we lost, or this is what we need to do better, rather than like, bro, they came at us like they were crazy. Like, you know, it's kind of hard to go in there and be like and know exactly what you need to do better.
I'm actually interested with this Zas pick.
Yeah.
Not a common pick you see. I know he definitely got a change where he now, instead of exploding, he leaves a minion behind that constantly does damage. But I just don't see how the Zaz comes into play here for maybe the Esmeralda,
So me and Priv8 actually watched them. I don't know how it's going to counter that exactly. What I can say is I did see them in a scrim. We practice casted over a scrim with them, and Mamiel made the Zas look good. Its mobility and team fights to be able to jump in and out and reposition itself. The question is, will it stand up? You know, when it comes, like, the idea of it sounds good with the recent buff, and the idea of it when you think about it mechanically. But a lot of heroes have felt like that and sounded like that, and then they just didn't show up when it came to tournament play. So I guess this is the tale right here. It's game 2. If Team Sexy wins this, then maybe it's not too great, but maybe we'll see TSU come with a major play here.
Yeah, and then with that Zask pick, it's kind of a double-edged sword. While you do have that ult that can come in and tank a lot of tower while your team dives in, and that's how TSU used it last time, is they were using that turret that ultimate from Zask to tank the tower shots while they dove into tower. Unfortunately, when you go up against a team like Team Sexy, who are very coordinated, who do the shot calling, I think you're going to find that turret, that ult from Zask is going to last very quickly as they burst it down.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like some of the TSU picks, but I just don't know. I think they picked it wrong. I think that Team Sexy was able to draft into their picks just because of the picks of the order that they did it.
Well, let's see if TSU can pull a Team Sexy and come in with some off-brand picks and make it work. They do have this double tank. You know, I think their goal is definitely end game, probably right here. You know, get that Beatrix farmed. They're not only this, but they're sticking Mamiel in the gold lane here. Very interesting.
Yeah,
Actually,
and
work
I-
against 1-1, honestly. I don't know about the stacks. When Zas ults, does 1-1 still get stacks on it?
I don't believe she can get
Oh.
stacks from any of the turrets. Oh, nice little a little bit of harassment there by Nikto onto best player, but she's still able to, or he's still able to clean up that buff quite quickly.
I really just want to watch this gold lane right now. I want to see what happens here. I'm very hyped about it. Mamiel getting cut off from Shark. We sees what happens. He will go down. Nice pick. Bazia almost. Oh my god. That
Ow.
should have been the play.
The Purify. Oh, he just hit too. That was crazy.
Another hook. Another hook. Come on, land it. Land it. Get the finish.
Run,
bro.
Zia!
Oh, man. That makes you sick to your stomach right there. That makes you sick to your stomach right there. Seeing that. Like, just.
Oh my
man.
god. When you do everything right and still cannot pick up that kill.
Yeah, well, that's just the Purify. He thought the Purify was still on cooldown when he flickered in, and then she just so happened to have it. If that 1-1's Purify did not come up when it did, 1-1 would have been dead for sure.
Yeah. Look at Shark harassing, and this is, I think we're gonna, ooh, a little bit of damage. The shotgun is out. Japanese though taking too much damage himself as best player gets that kill. And I think this is with a jungler like this Beatrix on. No, like Beatrix, you're weak in the jungle in the early game, and you're weak in the jungle throughout most of the game. And we're gonna see Team Sexy definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, especially when they have a Luo Yi. If Luo Yi does just a quick burst like that, and then Karina could easily just come in and finish off those kills. This is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, it's just how far and how fast that they can think ahead. And you can see Bossy here, camping that bush, waiting for Beatrix. And she does go in, and looks like she might be able to get that buff off of. Nope, not able to get the buff, but just the harassment in this jungle, letting Beatrix know that no matter where you are not safe from Team Sexy here right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough game right now. It's all. I mean, we're already sitting at 3-0. Nikto and Ziggy need to maybe. I mean, I don't understand why you pick these two tanks if you're not going to create space for Japanese. They left her alone down at that red buff. Like, I'm just these are the things that I'm just caught off by TSU recently. I don't really they bring these compositions in, and I think I have an idea of why they do it, but then they just do things completely differently than how I would do them if I had that team.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my best guess here is just that when you don't know what to do against the team, you just kind of reach into the box and pull out what you can and kind of hope for the best, I guess. But as you can see, like they're so smart about these characters, how they and their strengths.
Wait a second, a nice hook onto Lord Bossy. He's gonna be able to flick away though. Dogport with the flicker. Last Insanity able to connect, but he will pay the price as Zia gets the kill. So yeah, you get the kill onto Lord Bossy, but you give another one into the hands of Zia, who you know is gonna be a monster right now. Oh, nice teleport play coming from Nicolette. Mamiel trying to get away. Hits that ultimate. Locks onto Zia. Is going to change it up. Able to get the kill. A nice play. But can he get away? Nikto is here to try to help. Decides to leave him. Abandon all costs.
Once you get hit with Luo Yi, it's almost GG's. She hit so hard, and he could have saved her, but once you got hit with the Luo Yi, then there was no saving her.
I mean, but this is Nicolette. This is what I was talking about last game. Nicolette on this low Yi makes such clutch plays, so great at repositioning on the fly and just using that ultimate to its max utility, boy.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's a mid. We've even seen it. Remember that one match where they were pushing the mid tower and then they ulted onto the Lord. So right when the tower ended and the Lord, right when the Lord spawned, they instantly melted on the Lord. Didn't even give the other team a chance to even try to get to the Lord. It was just that timing and great positioning she does with her. And all the mages that Nicolette does is amazing.
Yeah, she's just so tight with all the abilities on this. I don't think I've seen a point when that ult has been in her queue for more than like a few seconds before she uses it to pick position. That is a huge surprise for TSU and to able to land those yin yangs on them.
Ooh, a nice hook though onto Shark, finally getting a nice kill. In comes Mamiel's ultimate, doing some nice damage onto this tower, reposition it to do some damage onto Nicolette. Nicolette will go down. A nice play. Zia also taking some damage. Nikto reposition himself, a nice hook and a kill. That is that a damaged Franco right there?
I don't know, but that was a lot of damage from a hook.
That's
No, looks like
not a
he's not-
damaged Franco.
Right? That was a lot of
That was
damage from a hook.
for sure.
Oh!
Another hook on to Animage. TSU taking the game back into their hands a little bit here. Playing well, able to take that tower.
Yeah, and TSU just that was a very crisp, very good engagements there. First able to take down. Oh god, Nikto.
Deleted from the map. Dogpour maybe next. A passive does proc. Ziggy does get the knockup onto Shark and the stun. Mamiel hits that ultimate, doing some nice damage on a best player. Coming in, but Dogpour still low. Decides to opt in. Shark taking some damage, but Mamiel just creating space, and this is what I was talking about. But just a glass cannon because he gets instantly shut down, and Zia continues to work on this turtle.
Yeah, unfortunately, while Mamiel is in that form, he is actually lasting a very long time. Unfortunately, the rest of his team is kind of zoned out, not able to capitalize on the, I guess, suppressive fire that that Mamiel is providing with that Zascult.
Yeah, and I think Zas actually is a good counter against 1-1. It's just that, yeah, exactly what you said. They're just not dominating. All feel like they should be.
Ooh, a little suppression on the Zia, but best players there to take out Nikto. They're going to move into this tower. Mamiel trying to defend and stop the push. So, I mean, TSU is doing a decent job of staunching the blood this game. You know, they're actually winning in towers technically right now. They are behind in gold, though, and we already know that Team Sexy just needs... This is what they do. Like, even if it feels like Team Sexy is losing a little bit, they always keep that gold up. They always know that they have the game in their hands overall. Best player coming in doing some nice burst damage on Ziggy, does get knocked up. Japanese trying to keep distance, and they're forced to disengage.
Yeah, and we got Esmeralda here up at the top lane, cutting lane, and probably going to provide some... He does get caught by Nikto and a hook.
Yeah, nice pick. Can they get the finish, though, on the chase? Dogport does use that last insanity with the ultimate and gets the kill on to Lord Bossy. But the teleport, the diversion coming from Nicolette. Hook just misses. Best player feeling his pace, does decide to come in, but he needs to be careful for Dogtor. But Nicolette just doing some nice burst damage, sitting at 2-1 right now.
This Nikto's actually doing a really good job at Franco. He's hitting some pretty nice hooks. He kind of knows where they're rotating to, and he's checking the right bushes and always finding somebody. Because he just knows like where they would be positioned at to do like an ambush or something, and he finds somebody.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. He is reading these fights correctly. It's just unfortunately TSU just doesn't have the damage or the positioning sometimes to be able to finish and close in on these.
We might see something here. Nikto sitting patiently, waiting for the move. He wants to zone in on the best player here. Not quite able to find the right angle. Throws the hook, misses. And the disengage comes back in, but Lord is up now. Mamiel sitting in this bush. Do we see something here? He just hits the ultimate immediately, gets a nice burst damage, repositions, forced to connect onto that camp, but the Lord is getting chipped away. Team Sexy has taken the initiative on it. Mamiel will not have an ultimate to force to break into this fight here because he's already used it, so I think at this point TSU just buy time.
Yeah, but it does look like Dogtar actually might be in trouble here. Ziggy coming in to provide some little reinforcement here. And yeah, I mean, they're successfully able to push Team Sexy away from the Lord, but we do have a pickoff. Jesus.
And now
that was on a tank.
Yeah, best player's on fire right now. The man is 5-0,
yeah.
And we
wait.
know
So he actually went damage Karina. So TSU actually went tank Karina in their last match, and that's what really cost them because tank Karina is no longer a thing. You have to go damage Karina now, or at least a hybrid. But they went full tank Karina, and this damage Karina, you can tell, like tanks, he is just melting tanks.
But I mean, one thing I could say is TSU isn't falling too far behind just yet. The goal, it's definitely not as bad as last game. So the question is do they have the late game potential with this Beatrix and Mamiel and the burst damage and then the two tanks to make sets? You know, do they feel cool right now? Like, do they feel okay? Zia getting caught off, does get picked off. Do they feel comfortable that you know, sometimes teams want to rely for the late game, and if it's only 1,000 or 2,000 gold deficit, they still feel like they have the game in their hands.
Yeah. TSU come back because I don't know if you ever played against a Fed Karina.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's not fun. She hits hard no matter what you get as for items. And that's exactly what she's just. Best player is just constantly rotating and getting in the jungle. Just keep farming. She's almost. I mean, best player is almost 15, and everybody else is at 10 and 11.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah,
He's majorly ahead. I didn't even notice that.
So far ahead.
Comes the play though on to Ziggy. A nice kick from Shark. Way the Dragon able to connect, and they feed the kill to best player again, sitting at 6-0. I mean, just let's take a look at his items real fast while we have the time. This man is at 8,000 gold right now, Private.
Yeah, 8,000 gold, and it's just like, what is your answer for it right now? Because he's already got, we already see the defensive items coming out for the side, so now you're going to start negating the damage that you could have done, and your window for being able to turn this around is closing tighter and tighter. And then it's when Karina comes in, what do? Do you save that Franco ult for Karina, and then have your team try to swarm up on the Karina? But then you have Lao Yi and the Esmeralda there that are going to be able to provide that CC and even more damage to dive in on your team while you do that. It's just the comps decisions here are just very smart on the time of Team CC. Team C sexy. Jesus.
Team CC. Team sexy.
Team destroyed.
Well, even then, so it's actually kind of curious because none of them have a Athena shield, and it's almost like, do you get a Athena shield? Because then now you're gonna give it to Esmeralda, right? They don't really have any magic damage for Karina, so Karina's just gonna feed on everybody.
Yeah.
Franco has Oracle, but that's it.
Yeah.
Oracle's not going to be good enough against Karina.
Definitely not. They need some sort of answer to it, and I think that's what the that's what the Xborg pick was. Xborg normally does okay. Wait, a nice teleport play from Nicolette once again. Dogport does come in with the last insanity, but it just doesn't connect, and neither does Mamio's ult. And the thing is they just can't catch Team Sexy off guard with Mamio's ultimate. With any of these plays, and the problem is if you don't catch them, then it's waste. Like there's no other real use to it. You need to land that burst damage and try to melt some people, but as long as Team Sexy can make the distance quickly and wait 10 seconds, then they just re-engage and have the fight in their hand.
And yeah, and while the gold doesn't look so debilitating, if you break this down, every single member of Team Sexy is at least 1k above every other player on the enemy team. So it's right now, you're basically waiting for Team Sexy to make a mistake here. Like you see them smartly going ahead and working on this Lord. There's really not much that TSU can do here.
Yeah, there's nothing they can do. They are still in a bit of a better position than last game. I think first Lord last game they were down to inhibitors, so they have a little bit more space for themselves here. But I don't think that Team Sexy finishes this game with this Lord push, but it's definitely going to help seal the deal.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll finish it, but if they're definitely going to do some damage, though, they're probably going to get a couple towers, maybe one tower. We've seen it multiple times on these Lord pushes where they instantly start focusing other towers.
Ooh, Shark pulled back in, a nice pick, able to get the kill. Good place. This is going to be good for this Lord advance on the side of TSU. You have, Lord Posse also getting hooked. I think if they can, with that, there's no more big engager for the side. But wait a second, down
oh my God.
Player deletes Ziggy. He does not need an engager right now. He does use that Winter Truncheon to completely negate that last insanity. Luckily, TSU is able to buy themselves enough time to take out that Lord, and down goes Zia. Also, a nice play coming from Japanese. So we are seeing some nice damage from TSU, but is it enough to deal with best player? Nicolette will get caught off. TSU finally coming out of their shell a little bit. A conceal play coming in. Best player may get caught off here. Some nice burst damage tries to come in, but Japanese able to secure the kill. TSU making a comeback right now, Ivor.
Yeah, absolutely, and they needed those picks there. Even with Japanese getting caught there, but that's really not much. But those are some great 2 picks right there. And Beatrice is definitely now doing some real damage. So if Karina gets a caught off guard like that, Beatrice seems to be melting Karina.
And this is following back to what you said. The lead was decent, but just not as bad as it was last game. And this is allowing them, for those little mistakes, to be able to punish Team Sexy and push down this mid lane. The big question is, are they going to be able to maintain this? Are they going to be able to keep forcing out those mistakes on the side of Team Sexy?
I mean, it does feel a little bit like they're possibly hitting a slight spike, or maybe Team Sexy is just making some mistakes, but Nikolai comes in. A nice kick on a Japanese. Hansi is pulled back with a chain. Can Japanese survive on his own? No, he will get taken out. Can they take out Shark, though? Dogtor does have that last insanity. Being patient, decides to use it to get away, though, as Zia is closing in, does have that ultimate ready to go. He does close in, and down goes Dogtor. The immortality does pop. He may be able to get away from this. Another hook coming on to Lord Bossy, but still does not enough as Best Player cleans up through the ranks of TSU. Japanese, Ziggy, Dogtor, all taking out. Mamiel is able to take out Best Player. Lord Bossy pulled onto the tower. It's a 4-1 trade over the map. Team Sexy coming out on top once again.
Yeah, it's just an amazing thing to watch too, especially with Nikto. He's being so precise with these hooks, doing everything he's supposed to. As soon as Shark is nails down onto Japanese, he has that hook ready to be able to pull Shark back, but it's just not enough, and Japanese still goes out and they have the answers. It's just the execution and how far back that they are right now as far as the gold lead.
And look, Nikito did another, Nicolette did another Luo Yi Lord play.
Yep. Pushing hard, teleport back to Lord, clean it up. Nothing TSU can do about it.
Yeah, it's just this is just like 5-star gameplay here right now, and unfortunately, TSU is kind of is waiting right now in the pool, but the water's coming over their head right now. They need to have a great play here to be able to. I don't think that they're going to be able to withstand this next Lord push.
Yeah, you know.
I don't think so either.
They just fell a little bit too behind in the early game. Japanese got caught off in like the first 2 minutes. Mamiel taken out of the gold lane in the first 2 minutes, and they needed to not let Best Player get to 10-1, not let him be at 6-0 in the early game. A nice hook onto Shark, though. Suppression comes in. Can they get a pick? Zia, though, here to back up. She is going to lock on to Dogtor. The ultimate will be coming soon to a theater near you, and now she's moving on to Ziggy. Ziggy will go down, but a nice hook onto Zia. The double kill locks in those. Japanese will secure it, but the Lord is at the base, and I don't think there's a defense for the side of TSU. Team Sexy will take this game right here.
First time I saw 1-1 ult this match.
Second.
I was just about to say.
Yeah.
They didn't even need it though. Wan, I think, as it was stated earlier, she was kind of being kept at bay by that Zask. Not really much that she could do, especially since she can't get stacks or can't get her weakness stacks off of that ult. But like, it not really needed by the side of Team Sexy, and unfortunately, it just came down to the execution and that pressure that Team Sexy has been known for, and not being able to let up.
Most definitely. I mean, Team Sexy once again prevails. Undefeated throughout the whole season. It's is this a foretelling of the playoffs, guys? Is Team Sexy just gonna sweep through it? Is this a foretelling of the up and coming North American Community Tournament? When is a team gonna step up and take a win here?
Yeah, they'll choke in first round of playoffs.
That would be crazy.
they get stomped first round of the playoffs. The undefeated team gets knocked off.
No, this was a huge example, and it's amazing for me to see. Just I don't want this to be a story of how TSU failing, because there was a lot of great points and a lot of great plays made with them, especially by this Nikto on that Franco. They're making such great openings, but it's just the aggression and the animosity on the side of Team Sexy to be able to get out of it, close in so quickly. Any other team, I feel like, with this game that happened here, I feel like any other team would have faltered here, but just you're facing Team Sexy, so there's just whether it's those properly used purifies, that onboard purify that Wan has, or when they were able to separate Shark from them, but Japanese still fell. It was they were executing what they should have. I feel like their game plan was going according to plan. It's just that on the side of Team Sexy, they were executing faster and harder.
Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, like I said, I know what the game plan was end game for TSU. The problem I've seen them bring this composition before, and they keep making this mistake of having those two bulky tanks in the middle lane, you know, separate from the jungle, and you can't do that, especially against Team Sexy, when you know you're gonna have Shark invade, and you know you're gonna have, like, the point of those is to keep Shark at bay. The point of those is to keep best player at bay in those first 5 to 10 minutes, so you can buy Japanese time, buy Mamiel time, and they just weren't able to execute that at all in that early game.
Opportunity when they won that, when they started winning that fight, it started to look like they were trying to come back. But what happened was that Japanese was so out of position. You know, the Franco put the vision and saw that Shark was coming down with Lil Yi, and then Japanese didn't run backwards. He ran out towards like the lane, and then was just out in the open, and then Shark flickered CC'd him and then ulted him, and then Japanese was out of there. So they did some really bad play when they had the advantage near the, when it was like 14-14, and they were pushing them down, and then they just got countered because they just went out of position.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Team Sexy is a team that's going to punish you for each and every single mistake that you make.
Yeah, they're sexy. They're sexy. Team Sexy is sexy on the battlefield. You know what I can't believe right now? This season, the season is officially over. We'll be heading to playoffs within the week. Right now it is scheduled for Thursday. I will make an official announcements. We also have to do some final tallying on all the points just to completely make sure that that everything is correct and that we have done. We're going to do a retally on everything just to make sure we got all the information correct and there's no mess ups. We will have an official top 6 announcement, official playoff announcements within the next day or two. Make sure you guys join the Discord if you want those announcements immediately. But it's definitely going to be huge, I think, in the playoffs. Team Sexy will be there. TSU will be there. Insomniacs will be there. Area 77 will be there along with some other teams. So make sure you guys tune in. And I mean, early on, it felt like the season was going kind of slow. And this second half has just blown by. Cannot believe it is over. And thank you everyone who has been supporting. If you haven't already and you want to, click that subscribe button, hit that like button. We also have the North American Community Tournament coming up soon. It will not be streamed on this page, but I will be hosting and organizing it along with several other casters that you have seen in this league. So if you're a team or you're a player and you want to join, make sure you check out the North American Mobile Legends Discord. I'm going to post the link for it real fast. That is where you can join the North American Community Tournament, hosted by yours truly and put on from Moonton. So make sure you check it out, guys. Join our Discord. Follow Priv8 Dancer on Twitch or YouTube. He streams there. Ebor, he doesn't stream. You bother him on my Discord channel all you want. Good friend of mine, though, so make sure you check him out. Hit him up. Be like, yo, Ebor, what up?
I for you all day.
Any last words from you guys?
No, just a bunch of great matches tonight, and
oh my God.
that big surprise too from Deuce X tonight. Like, congrats to that.
Fucking Knights, yo. Deuce fucking Knights. Big shout out to Deuce Knights.
Yeah, a great performance by them.
Yeah, that was an amazing performance by them. I mean, against all odds, like, we were all even talking about going to matches. Like, there's no way they're going to sweep them. There's no way they're going to playoffs. And we're trying to figure out, like, how we're going to do the math of, like, breaking a 3-way tie and stuff. And look, they come in and sweep Insomniacs. And I'm like, no, there's no math. This is our spot. We're going into playoffs play.
Huge.
Yeah, this season was amazing, though.
Yeah,
all around.
Yeah, I think it was a great, and I'm ready for next season. I mean, we definitely had our hiccups this season with all the teams that dropped out. Season 3, we will be, probably breaking it back down to 8 teams, and it may just be an invite-only basis. We will see, just because with what happened this season, I decided to bring in more teams, and so many dropped. So I may just break it down to a completely invite basis, only teams that will be invited to come and play in it. We're going to try to raise the prize pool even more and keep on pushing. But this season isn't over yet. We still have playoffs, so we won't get into that talk just yet. Thank you everyone for watching. It's been a fun night, like seriously. Thank you, Priv8 Dancer. Thanks, Ebor. I had a lot of fun casting with you too. One of the smoothest, I think, most fun 3-man casts I've done in a while. It was a pleasure. And until next time, guys, we'll see you in the draft.